Welcome in, y'all, to another episode of our Sistas Keeper, the live Tyler Perry Sisters unofficial after show hosted by your good sis you love to talk TV with, and
Your girl Allie Nick giving it to you when I give it to you, but always in the nick of time.
always in the nick of time. And y'all, we are here for another dope episode of Our Sisters Keeper. And in this one, we getting a little bit of meta. We getting a little bit of, let's come outside to the real and let's talk about these ladies in a way that we haven't really talked about them before. And also that I think that other critiques or commenters have not talked about them before. But it's, I think, going to be a very valuable way to position the women, and that is through their love languages, or what we believe their love languages to be. If you are new to this, there is a ideology, a theory, if you will, that there are five love languages, and there is some debate that happens around it, but a lot of people have adopted this from years and years ago. There's a quiz that you can take for free, and it will rank your love languages out of the five, which are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And with the quiz that is available on the official website, you can find out, what is your love language. But then also, I think it also tells you, because I haven't taken the quiz in so long. I feel like I took the quiz 15 years ago. It also will tell you how you prefer to give love. And those things are really, really important when we're navigating our interpersonal relationships, because how we best receive love, or how we best, can experience somebody who is attempting to love us and or is actually loving us, is really, really dependent upon us being able to recognize the behaviors, the dialogue, the energy, the aura, everything that comes with whatever that thing is that they're doing as actual love. They could 100% intend for it to be love, but if it's not in a way that we actually receive it, then we won't see it as that. We will see it as something completely different, and it could be a myriad of things on a very, very large spectrum. So the love languages are, I think, a good way to quantify some of the things that come up typically when it comes to interactions within your interpersonal relationships and love. And it's not even just on a romantic level, because these things also manifest within platonic and familial relationships as well. I know for me, I'm a big acts of service girl, and your love languages can change as well throughout different seasons of your life, right? So I'm in a season now where I give love via acts of services, but I also receive it. And I think I lean into trying to give it that way because I wish more people gave me that. And that's just a little transparency. Ellie, what's your love language? Your number one, because they do rank it. I think they give you your top
Oh,
three. Do you remember?
yeah. I don't, because like you said, I think I took the test when it first came out, when it was becoming a conversation. So like you said, that was a long time ago. But I want to say that well, in my top three was acts of service. Like
Hmm.
that's how I give love. Like that's one of the things how I give love. So it was acts of service, um, gifts, and physical touch.
Hmm.
Like those were mine.
For giving, mine are.
Also,
Go ahead.
oh, and I'm saying also, as they did change, like words of affirmation, was one of them, and the way that I receive love the most is is words of affirmation and physical touch.
Mm. I think I give via acts of service first, words of affirmation second, and quality time third. Um, and I think not I think I receive love first and foremost as acts of service. If you step in, if you bridge the gap, if you teach me something, if you help me in this hard ass life, I'm going to automatically assume that you love me, or in some way that you're trying to communicate love. Then right behind that, I don't know, I feel like words of affirmation and quality time are fighting for the second spot, and it really just depends on the season that I'm in. Right now, I kind of would say words of affirmation because I would be wanting to be alone, but I also associate right now being with people often requires me to expel additional energy or requires me to do something or step in or fill the gap. So I also feel like I'm in a season of isolation right now just because I don't feel like I have anything to give people. But once I get around people, I naturally just want to give and I can't stop myself. So the best thing that I can do is like, don't go around people, which
Did you
sounds
say
so
don't go
bad.
around them? You said don't go.
Yes, it sounds so bad, but that's where I'm at. Like, y'all,
Yeah,
your
man, we
girl
being
is going
honest on
through
here.
it, man. I am going through it.
We gonna
Life
be
is
honest.
rough.
Life is rough, and we go. I like that you said that because we go now, y'all. We gonna get to these women, but I do want to ask you: have you ever been called out in a romantic relationship about your lack of giving love the way your partner desired it?
Mm,
Have you ever? I'm gonna tell my story because I have been called out.
I've
Um,
never been called
have you
out.
ever experienced that?
No, but I'm also like the fucking overthinker. So like in my relationships, I'm always trying to like suss out how to be the best partner. And I feel like more often than not, and this is not even to toot my own horn, but when I give a shit about you, you're gonna know it, and I'm gonna do the things that sometimes you're not even doing to best understand yourself. And I feel like romantically, especially with the men that I was serious about or got into, horizontal tangles with, um, I sought to know them as deeply as possible. And for the most part, at the various stages that we were together, I saw things in them that they didn't even see in themselves because I was paying more attention to them than they were. And I adjust. Like I will start out with like acts of service and doing stuff for you, but if I see that you prefer gifts, and that's my least favorite. Like I really hate that so much, which ties to my damn childhood. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I already know. But I'll do it. I'm not gonna like it, but I'll do it. So I've never experienced somebody saying that. But then also, the people that I was dating, they didn't necessarily do like the quiz or know. Like how many people are actually that self aware or desire to be that self aware to figure it out? I feel like it's more women than men that do that.
Yeah, I know. For me, I was super young, so uh, a little insight on me. So I was a virgin, and it was my first like a serious relationship, or I would say adult relationship. And the guy that I was with, he was definitely far more experienced than I was. He had two children by two different women, and the woman he had his last child with was older than him. So of course she was older than
Mm,
me because he was older than me. So he was already familiar with certain things, and I went into the relationship just extremely inexperienced. You know, you got little relationships when you young, but nothing prepared me for jumping into this relationship when I'm a
right.
virgin, and this is somebody who is so well, experienced, far more experienced than I am. So now me and this was a guy that I had sex with the first time I ever had sex, and so we were, I was good in the game when it came to sex. Like that was like, yeah, we in this thing, and I wasn't really affectionate during that time. And so, but there, I was doing other things though. He didn't have a car. He lived 45 minutes away from me. So when I would come home from a
Mm,
break from school, I would go get him. He would come to my house. We would spend all this time together. And I'm thinking I'm doing like, my big thing. We doing a do whatever, whatever. So we were at the movies one day to go show how long ago this was. We went to go see the movie Hitch with Will Smith.
mm,
It was like
mm-hmm.
a sold out showing. So we were at the movies and we were just coming down, sitting in our seat or whatever, and he tried to kiss me, and I was being funny, and I like moved back. I said, "Wow," like that, but I was being, I was just joking, and he
Mm.
gave me this. I never forget. He gave me this look, and he was like, "The only time you act like you love me is when a nigga on top of you," and I was like, I didn't know how to take that. Like I didn't know how to take that,
Do
and
you
I'm
think
thinking
that
to
you knew?
myself.
Did you know what your love languages were at the time?
Absolutely not. I know. I had no idea. So like I said, I don't know. Like I think, well, he don't have a car, so I'm gonna go get him. He don't really have money like that. I
Yeah.
have money. I'll buy the food. I'll do this. So it was almost like I was doing things because I know he didn't have,
And
but
he
I didn't
didn't
have
recognize
the
those things.
Yeah, like I
Did
didn't
he
have the
have
know-it-all
additional
to say,
support?
no, not really.
So who
Not really.
helped
Like
him
he
take
lived,
care
like
of
he
his
lived,
kids?
huh?
Who helped him take care of his kids?
I don't think he was taking care of them financially. Like he was a good dad. Like go spend time if he have like extra money, he would do. But I think for the most part during that time, it was the mothers who were, of course, taking care of their children. So he didn't have it like that. And I'm like, I'm doing all of these things, and not that
I
he
don't
didn't
know,
appreciate
friend.
it, but it was
It gives
like,
very entitled because it's like I don't know, like not to say that you have to take what you can get when you're in circumstances, because that's not what I'm saying, but
hmm,
to assume that somebody doesn't love you because of that when they are doing all of the other things, that to me feels a bit entitled and it feels a bit manipulative.
well, I don't feel that he felt I didn't love him. It was just like, you don't touch me other than when we're having sex.
Mm.
Like, why don't you touch? Like, why don't you show up? Like, basically, I think he was saying, I want you to be more affectionate with me, and the only time you do that is when we're having sex. Like, you don't hug me, you don't do this, or if I try to do it to you, you showing me away. Like what's going on with that? Like, but like I
Mhm.
said, we were young, so I do believe there were certain things we didn't have the verbiage at the time to say,
Mhm.
or maybe not wanting to offend, but I definitely was offended because I was like, dang. But it did make me think. So I will give him credit because it put me in a position to be more intentional when I started dealing with other guys. Now, of course, I got better in our we both did because now we're able, since he opened Pandora's box, now we can communicate. Well, since you feel like I only, act
Yeah.
like I love you, or when I'm having sex with you, I don't feel like you do jack for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just put it all out there now.
Hello.
But it was like one of those things where, okay, you opened up Pandora's box. Thank you, because now even if I'm not really feeling the dude emotionally, it, like as you said, if we're doing the horizontal tango, I'm paying attention. Oh, you like sweets? Okay, so when
Mm.
you come over to my house, I'm gonna have ice cream, your favorite ice cream, and your brownies. That don't mean I don't like you like that, but I enjoy what we do. And so I just became
Oh
like
girl, well if
more
you don't like him
intuitive
like that,
too,
then why are you doing it?
because I like doing it. Acts of
Mm.
service. Acts of
Mm-mm.
service. It's
That's how
like,
you.
yeah,
That's
okay,
how
I
you.
know this.
That's how you mess up, friend. You can't be out here giving love and showing love when you don't love these niggas. But no, that's a great example. That's a great example, I guess, of like calling the person out in the most unhealthy way possible. Because I would argue with
Very
the
much
setup
so.
that you're saying, it's like I don't even know if he understood that at the moment. He just understood that he wanted something that he wasn't getting, and the way to get it is to throw a tantrum versus to healthily try to communicate that a little bit better. Hopefully, after this conversation, everybody who's listening or is catching this on replay is very, very well equipped to communicate what they need within both romantic and familial relationships. If you feel like you're not being loved appropriately, if you feel like you're not being heard, if you feel like you're not being seen, and before anybody jumps in here and is like, well, it's just a show, you can skip this episode because
Please.
whether y'all realize it or not, there's a lot of real human psychology that goes into writing scripts. Now, I don't know if Tyler is doing it, but writers typically they are leaning on human behavior. They are leaning on things like frameworks around love languages to help build out full characters that feel like great actualizations of people that you would experience in real life. So that's also why I believe that this conversation is very, very important. And it could be something that helps us just uncover and unpack the girls in a way that's a little bit different but more nuanced. Do you think that the sisters know their love languages, Allie?
You know what's so crazy? I struggle with this question. I ain't gonna lie, I struggle with this question because I began to like really dissect each and every woman and what I've seen
Mm-hmm.
in these past 8 seasons, and I think a lot of them are confused. I believe I know what they enjoy, but I don't necessarily know if that's their love language. Um,
Mm.
so I don't know if they know their love language. I'm really tied here Because sometimes I want to say yes. I feel like almond joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes I feel like they do know their love language, and then at times I feel like they really do not
So what's the
have the
time that
slightest of
you feel
clues.
like they do? Or maybe we should just go by sister. Let's go by sister. And y'all can
Okay.
let us know in the chat as well. Sabrina.
There are times I think with Sabrina, she's very quick to tell someone how not to speak to her. Don't talk to me like that. And I'm so when I listen to her in that frame, I'm thinking, okay, are there is words of affirmation your love language or what you want to receive as far as love languages is concerned? Because she's very adamant about what she or how she wants someone to speak to her. So I'm like, okay, well maybe it's words of affirmation. Maybe she
Well,
needs
not
that
guessing if
validation.
what they are. I'm saying, do you think that she knows? Before we
Oh,
even
that she
try to
knows, girl.
assign them, do you
Oh,
think
we
that
ain't
she
even there.
knows?
We just doing no. Oh, child, no.
Really?
Hell, they probably all finna get a no.
I think that Sabrina knows her love languages.
You do?
I think she does, which is what to
Oh,
me is the most infuriating part about it because it means that you're actively settling and you know better. I think that she knows what makes her heart sing. I think she knows what makes her feel most loved, what makes her feel most appreciated, and she accepts otherwise because she would rather be with somebody than wait for what she actually wants and deserves. I feel like Sabrina is like the prototype for the passive settler. Fully aware.
based based on that, it makes me feel like everyone for me is a no, probably except Karen,
Okay.
based on what you said.
Okay, Karen's
And
next. I would
possibly
say Karen knows. I think Karen knows her love languages for sure.
yes, I believe Karen knows her love language.
And I
Absolutely.
think that what we watched play out over the course of the last 6 seasons was not only her fighting, trying to get love the way that she wanted to receive it, but also fighting with herself to stop settling for it looking different than what she knew it should look like.
Yes. Yeah, and for me it rings true because you could see the conflict. You
Mm-hmm.
can see the I know I deserve more, yet there is a strong desire to live in this place of settling, and I don't want to be there even though sometimes I feel it draw me back. So you could see that conflict within her character. And so that's why I say I do believe that Karen knows her love language.
Okay. And y'all tell us in the chat as well. Andy,
No,
I would agree.
I don't think she knows her love language.
I also don't even know if Andy truly understands what love is. I feel like Andy is floating through a simulation world that she has in her head and she's not operating in reality most of the damn time. I think on the surface it will look like Andy acts not acts love language is receiving gifts and physical
Hmm.
touch, but then also
Hmm.
those things don't actually satiate her and she gets bored with them. I think that there's coming to a point where Andy is going to have to meet herself at a deeper place than she has met herself, and it's going to rock her world. And then that is when she's really going to figure out what it looks like to be in love and to be loved.
Yeah.
And I think it's only then that she will be able to cultivate a stable relationship. Because aside from the Gary being a complete and utter menace, um, Andy's relationships don't work out because of Andy and because she's
Yes.
chasing something that on the surface looks great but ultimately has nothing behind it, so it's not sustainable.
Yeah, I think I also with Andy as well. It's something that you said earlier that made me think about Andy in this way. But at least you were able to align with where it came from. When you talked about oh Lord, you talked about receiving gifts and how like you hated that, but you know that it derived from your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I believe also with gifts, it derives from Andy's childhood because she did express that after her father died, that's how her mom treated her. You know, her mom
Mm.
worked these jobs to make sure she had the top of the line this and she had that, because it's almost like I'm trying to make up for your father not being here. I can't bring him back, but I can make sure you have, all of these things. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that that has come up in Andy's, her romantic relationship. That's why I say I know what Andy enjoys, but I don't necessarily believe that that's her love language, like receiving gifts, because
Yeah.
that's how your mom kind of almost kind of groomed you
Yeah.
to show that she loved you. So it's like maybe a misinterpretation of what her love language is. Like my mom did it.
But
So
no,
if you
it's
if you
like
love me,
I think that that's spot on because if you're told this is what love is and then this is how it's performed, then you go on the rest of your life looking for other people to perform it, but then you don't actually fully feel love because you didn't even fully feel love by your mama back then. My
yes,
thing with giving gifts is that my mom did something very similar. Like she was very distant, very detached, and I had all the Barbies in the world, and I would have to play by myself and create all these imaginary worlds because she did not play with me. She did not come to like every basketball game and every this and every that. Like she was not the like soccer mom. My coaches helped me out a lot and like stepped in various ways where my mom wasn't actually present, and she had her own things going on, so like I've already worked
mhm,
through like forgiving her for that. But not that I can't receive gifts because people do give me gifts and they're very meaningful and I do treasure them, so I don't want to come across like I don't appreciate when people give
yeah,
me things. I do. It's just not high on my totem pole because when I was younger I would get a bunch of stuff and then not have anybody to be there with me and spend a ton of time by myself, which is also probably leads to why I'm so damn independent and why I like okay, I'm by myself.
mhm,
Okay, ain't nothing new. Like nobody give a fuck. And
yeah,
I think the same thing could be said for Andy. And it's not that the love wasn't there from her mom, but because there was nothing really substantive there to support the premise that, oh, you're loved and here's how I love you, these gifts, and for her to actually truly feel it, then there's still just this hollow thing happening when she's seeking it out in other people.
yeah. Are we getting deep?
We were talking about love languages, so I already knew we was going there, friend. I already knew that.
Y'all grab y'all tissue. And you might need to do some inner work tonight. We may be setting the course for some inside
Child.
work to be done tonight. Yeah.
Because that's already a thing that needs to happen. The girls need to be doing work. If they ain't going to take their asses to therapy, there's definitely work that could be done amongst the fucking sisters. But alas,
Absolutely.
does Danny know
Absolutely.
her love languages?
Lord. I'm gonna say no. No. No.
I'm gonna say no
No.
too, but I'm gonna give you this credit, Danny. I'm only saying no because when we get to us trying to tell you what their love languages are, I am lost when it comes to Daniela. I have no idea what to tell y'all. So once we get back to her, when we're telling you what we believe their love languages to be, concepts
I
and thoughts
want
and
to tell
prayers up
y'all
here, cause
the fact that you and I have not discussed
at
this in
all.
detail. Literally, when we got to her, I was gonna say a ball of confusion because I don't know. I mean,
mm,
at all. And like I said, I was really thinking about these women like deeply, and I
yeah.
was like, I am literally at a loss when it comes to Danny. Did this, like when you guys watch our Fatima video, like having epiphanies as we're going through, because I'm literally like, this girl, she is. It's just it's a question mark,
Mm-hmm.
truly a question mark when it comes to this character as it pertains to her love languages.
Yeah.
A mess.
So yeah, we're gonna put a question mark, but y'all let us know. Does Danny know in the comment section? And I'm sorry, in the chat. Do she know what her love language is? And then also, y'all get to thinking, because maybe y'all gonna have to tell us what the hell the love languages are, because
What
we
it
ain't figured
is.
it out yet. Fatima.
Erica, she was another one who confused me too. I'm not even gonna hold you. Fatima, and I thought about this because I really wanted to assign one to her.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. And I wasn't able to, maybe as we go through. So I'm gonna say no. Or it made me feel like maybe she did and she settled, so she doesn't require it. I just
I don't
don't
think that Fatima knows what
know.
her love languages are. But I'm also leaning to Fatima doesn't know as much as she think that she knows, period.
I agree with
Like, I feel like she is the well-to-do black girl in the crime family that had the little dust up with her mama growing up. um and she's a little bit different, which already sets you aside and makes you feel not necessarily better, but makes you feel like you just a little bit wiser than the others. And she moves through life like that, but then now she's gotten to a place where she's not pulling in additional information for her to actually be wise, for her to actually move with a certain intellect that she actually needs. And initially, I think she was presented very well. Like on the surface, it looked like she had it all together and she was very smart. But I don't think so. And I don't think that she's as in tune as they want to try to play her off as. Um, because the Fatima that we see today, I don't even think thinks about it. It's not even that she doesn't know what her love language is because she's incapable of it. I don't think that she has thought about it. I think that even when we saw her dating and doing whatever the hell she wanted to do, that was a knee jerk reaction to being hurt by men. So she has a toxic cycle of getting into circumstances, relationships, whatever you want to call it, with these men, and they feel like they have always been driven by those men's validation, those men's desire, and her actually performing those things. When she got burnt too hard with Ian, then she went back to the streets and was like, okay, it's all on my terms and I'm going to be completely cut off. But even in that, what need would you have to like investigate yourself and like how you give love, how you receive love, if you're trying to keep these niggas at an arm's length? And then Zach pops up and he needs all this stuff. And I think that she has a strong idea of like loving people and wants to
that. Hmm.
perform it because there's a certain part of it that makes her feel good about herself in doing so. But again, that still isn't, even the Zach relationship isn't forcing her to interrogate how she feels best love. I think the closest that we got to it was the breakup and then her going on them dates with Paul, but she wasn't away from him long enough to fully be able to even have that conversation with herself. So I don't think that she knows her love languages.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I agree with everything that you said. Everything that you said.
And you know, we told you guys what love languages are, what the five main ones are, because some people argue that there's others. Um, but the importance of this is, y'all, that they can truly impact your relationships. They can be, if you're speaking different love languages with the person that you're trying to show that you love, they can create disconnection. If giving love the way that you prefer to receive it, um, versus giving it the way that the person wants to receive it, can become dissension and conflict. And it's a very common mistake in most relationships, whether that's family, friend, or buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like it, that can definitely, that's like a number one thing. um and then understanding the differences between the love languages, and then also understanding how the person that you're trying to love wants to be loved, can be the one thing that transforms how you move in that relationship and how y'all actually connect for the rest of the time that you are connected. So I just wanted to make a point to talk about the impact of this, and why it's important now.
Yes.
Well, before we go into like who, what we think that their love languages are, um we are going to be kind of like analyzing this from a way that we're also creating like containers of like conversation around self-worth and self-knowledge. So like we have talked about before on the channel, with our Sisters Keeper, the lack of self-esteem, the lack of self-worth that pops up here and there, various circumstances with pretty much all of the girls, right? But we haven't dived a lot into, we mentioned it here and there with self-knowledge, which I would equate to like self-awareness. um and I think part of that is because the way the girls are written, aside from Karen, who's kind of like forced into self awareness most of the time, they're not put into
Hmm.
positions where they actually have to be self aware to make it out of a thing, right? Or to like lessen the consequences that they're facing with a thing. So I think that that's also going to be kind of new. I think your self esteem really impacts the type of love that you choose to and are willing to accept. And
Yes.
your self awareness or the lack thereof really affects the ways that you are able to communicate your needs and love, your boundaries, and kind of like structure how you engage with any interpersonal relationship, let alone a romantic one. And there's a difference between identifying your needs and then demanding that they be met, which is what I think plays out with
Mm.
Sabrina.
Girl, that last line.
So that's what we
Yes.
at. That's what we're gonna be looking at as we, talk about this. And this is talk back to us, y'all. Yes, this is pre-recorded, but we gonna be in the comments and we also gonna be in the
Yes, we are.
chat. So we
Yes, we are.
here and we got y'all. All
Baby.
right, Sabrina. What do you think her love languages are? And we're gonna just do, for the sake of time, we're just gonna do two, top two, one and two.
For Sabrina, her top two, I'm going to say um quality time and words of affirmation.
I would agree. I would agree. Sabrina is the girl that
Yeah.
wants you up under her, and she believes that the more that you're up under her, the more that you pop up, the more that you care. And it's just like, oh, girl,
Yes.
I love a good
Yes.
pop up. I love a good grand gesture in a pop up, but no, absolutely not. Especially
Yes.
when,
Sabrina made me think about
go ahead, sorry.
she just made me think about one of the women that just want to be in their man's skin. Like if she can hop in the shirt, she would do that. Like
Yeah.
she really wants that. And I think that's when I've seen her come alive the most. Even though I can't stand them, but like when Rich stops by, like she
Mm-hmm.
could have literally just seen him 3 minutes ago. But when he comes over, she is so bubbly and just like, oh, I could just bask in
And
your presence
forgetful. It don't
forever.
even matter what the did. If he pop up, all is right with
Yeah.
the world. Like, ma'am. And y'all, we're talking about right
Yes.
now what we believe
Yes.
Sabrina's love language is, that the way that she receives love as her love languages.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would definitely agree that quality time is number one and words of affirmation is number two. The problem with words of affirmation, which is why it gets tricky for me, is that they don't work if they are hollow. They don't work if I don't believe them. But the problem with Sabrina is they work regardless. If it's a positive thing being said towards her, it's gonna work. I hate that for her.
Yes. And that's something I think that everyone should be mindful of. When you talk about words of affirmation, and sometimes people just want to hear something positive being
Mm-hmm.
spoken, and it doesn't matter what vessel it comes from. They just want to hear it. It makes it soothes the itch in their ear, and it's like, but that you want those words spoken to you from someone to who actually cares about your well-being, and
Yeah.
not just what you can do for them. Can they speak those words to you without demanding something in return? Can
Yeah.
I just say, that you are worth it. You are worthy. You are magnificent. You're in a position to obtain it. You can obtain anything that you want. And not that, well, when you get it, I'm trying to open up another juice bar.
Yep.
But really having those words spoken to you, because to me, when you do have someone to speak those words of affirmation, it like it opens up something in
Mm-hmm.
you. It
Mm-hmm.
refreshes you, it renews you. And unfortunately, words of affirmation, depending upon where they're coming from, can just be niceties that are spoken.
They could be niceties that are spoken, or they could be lies and manipulation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's from Rich, we know which one it is.
But when it's from Calvin, when it's from Calvin,
Hmm.
Calvin was telling the truth.
He was. He was. I'm gonna give him that.
He was telling the truth.
He was. He was. And it goes to show, you can have words of affirmation that's coming from a truth vessel, but if you don't want the person, they won't hit the same.
That part.
And she truly displayed that.
Yeah. How do you think that she shows love to others?
How does she show love to others? I would say Sabrina, words to others. Because I'm thinking about her interactions. Um,
Well, it doesn't have to be she shows it that way. Like, do you think that she uses words of affirmation? Because I don't. Well, I don't think words of
I
affirmation is her
it
number one. I
wouldn't
think
be.
acts of service
It,
is her number one.
I would say acts of service. Like it, I would say it wouldn't be like my top words of affirmation. Because I was trying to think about like her interactions with the women, even with Maurice,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, I'm thinking
I
acts of
would I would
service and
say
quality
that.
time. I think those two are it for her. That's how she
Yeah,
shows love.
yeah, that's how I feel. Because I'm thinking about like even her interactions with Karen,
Mm-hmm.
her interactions with Maurice. Because
She was
even
always the one early
though,
on. She was always like, "We gotta go over there. We gotta go over
yes,
there."
yeah, because Sabrina gonna show up, and that's what I was thinking about. Like, even though it's been written for her to be, I guess, closer to Danny,
Mm-hmm.
her and Karen have a very different dynamic. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
very different, and like you said, she go, we need to go over there. We need to find out what's happening.
Yep.
She was the first one who bust through the door when Karen and Aaron was doing their little thug dizzle on the couch. Like
Child.
she is that one, and like she's always gonna show up when she
Mm-hmm.
feels she needs to show up. So yeah, I agree.
I agree. Um, to the point of like, I believe that she knows her love language. I think that the way that we get to see that is that she does have a level of self awareness that the other girls don't. Now, the fact that she doesn't act upon it is a whole other conversation. The fact that she don't enforce boundaries, the fact that she don't speak up for herself enough, that does not actually mean for to me in the Sabrina case that she don't know. It's just that there's a big gap between knowing and then doing and executing on the knowledge that she actually has. I think that
Yeah.
Sabrina is the girl that she reads her horoscope regularly. She's the girl that while Fatima's talking about she meditates, she actually does meditate. Sabrina is so, in a lot of ways, like, I know I've like dinged her a lot for her passivity because it pisses me off how she let people walk over her, but she's cultivated her passivity in a positive way too because she's very slow to move and to react. And I think that there's only grounding and self-awareness that comes with that. Like, you cannot be that slow to move. You cannot sit with yourself and your feelings and not blurt it out on anybody else or take anything out on anybody else without, the byproduct of that being you cultivating the self-awareness, a real deep self-awareness of like how you feel, how you think, what you actually want. And again, I think her biggest issue is like communicating that and like executing that in the world. And then also just how she navigates her relationships with everybody else. She is, I think, the most tender, the most outwardly tender person. Like, because I would argue that Karen is very vulnerable and motherly to the friend group, but
Hmm.
when it comes to like the real handling with kid gloves, Sabrina is doing that, and I think that she's doing that because she has an awareness of like love languages within herself and like wanting. She don't just do shit because, oh, I want you to know. I want you to feel love. She wants you to know that she thinks about you, that she considers you, and she wants whatever she's doing to actually land. Like, I also feel like she's one of the ones who be trying different tactics with people.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the episode where Karen pulled that gat out. She's sitting on the couch with her gat, waiting for Fatima to come back, and Sabrina just walks candidly in and sits down like,
Mm-hmm.
Karen, put that away. Like there is such a genuineness to her tone when she speaks. Because I do believe for the most part, Sabrina really is a genuine person, and she definitely wants her friends to know that I am here for you,
Mm-hmm.
not just in words, but in her actions. And what do we need to do? How can I service you right now? How can I be
Yeah.
of service, to you right now? So she's truly genuine. In that, I just wish she was more genuine to herself.
Yeah. She just need to follow through. You know everything that
Yeah.
needs to be done. You know how people need to treat you. You know how people should talk to you. You know what makes you feel good. You know what doesn't make you feel good. And I'm waiting for you to bust through the blockage that's telling you that you have to accept the things that you've been accepting and you know that they feel terrible. I hate
Yeah.
that her passivity and positivity has put on her this like archetype, I guess, of the woman who also just settles for whatever's offered because you can be passive, you can be non-confrontational, you can be slow to move, right? You can measure twice and cut once, but then also not let niggas play with you. Those things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
That's right.
What do you
I
think of
agree.
some examples of like Sabrina knowing how she preferred to be loved, but not actually being able to demand it with Calvin or Rich?
Um, hmm, hmm. Excuse me, with Calvin or Rich. I'm gonna use like what happened with her and Rich in season 8.
Hmm.
It was as if when he was like, he gave, well, it appeared that he had not spoken to her or had any type of communication with her um within 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it was, you still my girl, and I still love you. Before we got to that, she tells Danny, yeah, like we're still together, I think. And it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know what it feels like to be there for someone,
Yep.
not just in words but in action. You know this. And this man here is saying the things like, yeah, I love you and you my girl, but his actions has shown anything
But that.
but that. So it's like, you know what it is, but you're not in a place to demand those things to happen with Rich. I don't even know if I answered this question correctly because my mind just literally went blank for a
No, no,
second.
no.
Um,
That's
but
fine. Letting him get away with that for sure. I think
and with
also,
Calvin,
yeah, with
oh, go
Calvin,
ahead.
I was about to go to Calvin, and like I think the whole sex talk and the things that she was feeling coerced to do and that she just didn't want to do, they put them on like, it set the tone, it set poor taste in her mouth, and she literally just did certain things, and then every time you turn around she's running to Danny to complain about it, and it's like, girl, you don't actually have to do any of this. Why are you doing it? Nobody said that you have to do it. You're not a bad person if you do not participate in this. So you dragged on this relationship with this man that you're not sexually compatible with, or that you could have got to the good part earlier, where he would have made a decision of like he gonna let that part of himself go because he wants to be with you that bad. But either way, you would have put yourself in a more comfortable position to be loved appropriately, or you would have been able to separate and go find somebody else. I mean, I think so. To Sabrina's point as well, like, yes, she's a passive character. Yes, she kind of like lets herself get walked all over. But an overarching thing for all of these damn girls is like they have to be with somebody. So like a man has to be in a picture, which is unfortunate. We don't ever really get the opportunity to see what it looks like of them actually choosing singledom outside of like Karen. Um, so I think that also is like a writing issue, but there are various things within the character. It's like, girl,
Yeah,
she has a really toxic
and
pattern
if
of
it,
putting everybody's needs before her own as well.
she does always. And that has been shown like so many times. I instantly always think about the conversation she had with Danny as it pertains to Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
Her need to be respected in her choosing of men. You don't have to like them, but respect my decision. I can see if Calvin was beating her or something like that. You just have an issue with him because you think he's gay.
Mm-hmm.
Respect who I'm with. And Danny was still doing things to show that she did not respect Sabrina's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Sabrina would say little things and then just go away as if what Danny preferred for her life outweighed what she wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, this baby girl, that's your life. She ain't gotta like who you with, but she does need to respect it. So it's
Yep.
like putting the need for Danny's validation or Danny's need to feel right about something above the fact of this is who I want to entertain at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something with Sabrina that really it's sad that the character is like that because especially when it comes to men that she cares about, she tends to exalt their feelings or their needs
Mm-hmm.
and desires over hers. And to me, Rich was a huge one because she did it multiple times, regardless of him disrespecting her, whether in public or private, she still, went about her way to make him feel validated in
Yeah.
what he did. And
Yeah.
and I just, I hope that changes, but I'm not expecting it to.
And the crazy thing is like if she was actually aligned with what she knows to be her love languages and communicated appropriately, she could have not only transformed the relationships, but she could have really pushed those men to grow the hell up. Like, right? Like, I don't know if, and I'm not saying this is her fault at all, be clear. But I don't know
Right.
if Calvin runs off with a white woman to be her sex slave and then run back crying. If Sabrina puts her foot down of like, okay, I actually am interested in being in a relationship with you, but I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this in bed, and those are non-negotiables. And then he has to kind of sit with that because he then gets confronted with it with the white girl on a whole other spectrum because she wants all of these things that he doesn't want to do, and now he has a different perspective. But he could have had that same perspective if Sabrina would have confronted him with it, but she didn't. She went along with it and allowed herself to be coerced into this thing with him and get dragged along only for him to go and repeat that same behavior with old girl. And again, it's not her fault that that happened, but I'm saying if you show up for yourself, if you show up and you're authentic, if you are in your truth and allow people to experience you in said truth, authenticity, and the good intentions that we all know that Sabrina have, look at how much better both of y'all's lives would have been, whether y'all were together or not. And then to
Right.
the point about Rich, he needs to grow the hell up on some whole other level. So like just standing your ground and like you are a divorcee who's running around here talking about something, baby, please take my sperm after you just said I was desperate for your damn dick and I'm trying to trap you. No, let me
Okay.
let you know who the real prize is here. Because you are a balding ass middle aged man who might look good and might be able to lay it down, but you ain't got much nothing else going on for you. You got the personality of a goddamn thumb, sir. You can't have conversation to save your damn life. The best thing that you got going for you is how you wield this damn penis. I am a cultured woman, an intentional woman, a good damn woman, one that you damn don't deserve on a bad day, let alone a fucking good one. You need to count your lucky stars. Like, Rich needs the woman that's going to tell him your shit stinks, sir, actually. Because it seems like nobody has told you, and it seems like you ain't picked it up when the lady divorced your ass, and I know it was your fault.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Baby, grenades were thrown. Forget shots fired. Grenades were thrown. Grenades
You know
were
I don't
thrown.
like
But
that
this is
man,
what
Allie.
happens. But this is what happens, women. We have to take accountability. And like Erica said, it's not blaming Sabrina, but we do have to take accountability for the things that we allow and the things that we do not say. And we do have to assess those things as to why we don't do them. Like, there's a whole bunch of men, I'm sorry, because y'all finna get another grenade thrown to y'all. There's a whole lot of men out here who think their sex is bomb, meaning
Hello?
good, meaning
Hello?
good. And it's women out here who won't be honest to say, look, I the term 2 minute man should not be applied to you. There is no reason. What's going on with you? A minute and 15, you already tapping out. That is uncalled for and unacceptable. Like those are conversations, or men, or like men really think, yeah, I knocked that down, baby. You didn't knock nothing down. I
Not
knocked
a
you
damn
down.
thing. I could have had a V8.
You didn't do nothing. We gotta be honest. Tell them the truth. It was not good. Whose was it? It's mine. It
Actually,
has
I still
always
retain
been.
ownership.
Okay, so it's like start telling these people the truth, especially, and I'm joking with that aspect of it,
Mm,
but I'm being I like, especially when it comes to our emotional state and the
yeah.
things that we do allow and the things that sometimes we stay in situations longer than we should, because if we were really in tune with the way that we receive love and the need for that to be given, there are just certain things we just would not accept. There are certain things
Mm,
that we would not be passive on. And that's not saying that you're going to have a whole personality shift or change, but you will be able to have those difficult conversations about, like, even the whole thing, like, you act like you desperate for my sperm. Wait a
oh,
minute.
wait a minute.
One thing about me, Rich, I've never been desperate.
Hello,
And
and
I
never
definitely
gave
have not been
that.
desperate for your sperm. I have the sperm bank on speed dial. I don't need you for what I desire. Like, letting it be known, like, who the hell are you talking to
Who in
in real
hell?
time?
Mm-hmm.
and not thinking you, not letting you get beside yourself, thinking that you can disrespect me multiple.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you got one time. You
Yep.
got one time with me.
Yep. That
No.
part. Moving on to Little Miss
Moving on.
Andrea Barnes, honey.
Little Andy. Little Andy.
Okay, so we kind of alluded to this, but it seems to me that she prioritizes gifts
Mm-hmm.
and words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. I would definitely give words of affirmation.
But
But
when I really think of Andy and who I think is deep down in that pretty little girl's head, in that pretty little girl's heart, I feel like the girl on the inside wants quality time. I'm trying to decide between physical touch and acts of service.
yeah, that's a strong fight between those two.
What do you think are her actual love languages? The ones that she don't know about in reference to how she receives love.
I'm more so leaning. Well, when I thought about it, I said physical touch.
First,
Yeah.
and then
Um, words of affirmation.
as what she does now, or was the thing that she needs to uncover.
Things that she needs to uncover. And see, I
That's
guess I get.
interesting because I feel like when Andy gets to a place that she is actually validating herself, she won't need the words of affirmations of others anymore because they only go like halfway now. Like she hears
That's
them and
true.
she feels them and she like, oh yes, but then she's back to like nobody does this, nobody like. I
Yeah.
don't think that at her core she really values words of affirmation, and maybe that ties to like the backstory that we don't have the full context on of like her getting gifts and her mama telling her, girl, you're great, without her
Mm-hmm.
actually materializing the greatness to like have it be evidence. So like I'm really struggling with her actual love language being words of affirmation, because I think once she gets to a place where she's no longer seeking gifts and the financial abundance of a man, and she finds a man that she genuinely likes as a person, is spending more time with them, I think it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
all about like doing life and having sex. So I would probably say that it's going to be quality time and physical touch once Andy gets to know herself better, in my
Yeah, because
opinion.
that
Y'all
physical
tell us
touch ain't
in the
that physical
chat.
touch. Yeah, please tell us in the chat when it comes to that Andrea Barnes, because really the one that I just know for sure for me is the physical touch, because I do believe that Andy does desire like deep connections with people, and at the moment the way she seeks those out is like it's sex, like it's a, should I say, a prerequisite. Um, I don't know, or just the intimacy between her and whoever she's dealing with at the
I'm even
time,
thinking
because I
about
think
that more now because I'm also like, I feel like once Andy knows herself better and she's in a better place of self esteem and self worth, I think that the physical touch part is going to transition from being sex to being true intimacy. Because the quiet is kept, Andy has, yes, physical touch for days, but I don't know if I can say that she has experienced actual intimacy physically.
that's why it's hard with some of these characters, because it can change.
And if
You
you're
know what I'm
wondering,
saying?
I'm
Like
saying that because like intimacy to me is like a deeper knowing, and you can have sex with somebody and
Mhm.
not actually be intimate with them. I think
Oh,
there
absolutely.
are, touches that are not you sticking parts of you and the parts of them
Mhm.
that are even more penetrative than that actual act. Like fully seeing someone and seeing their body can be a very intimate experience. The act of like being able to maintain eye contact and stare into somebody's eyes is an intimate act of connection that a lot of people, not even these sisters, but a lot of people never even really experience. Like I realized how much we don't do it once I started acting class here in LA 8 years ago. And that's one of the exercises. One of the first things that they make you do is stare into your scene partner's eyes, and it gets weird. It gets weird for a second until you get comfortable with it, because it's like you can't hide. Like, they're looking into you. Um,
Mhm.
and honestly, I would love that type of like intimacy and love for Andy, where she really transcends the idea that sex is the end all be all in reference to connection, and she really gets to understand what true connection is when a person like sees you fully and understands you in a way that they know how your body responds to things. They know what environment you best thrive in. Like, there's just so many other things to explore in reference to intimacy outside of sex.
Yeah. So would you say her love languages are like currently where we
Oh,
are in the
currently
sisters?
is physical
Yeah.
touch and words of affirmation, but I believe that those aren't real, which is why they don't work consistently. They work in a
Yeah.
moment. In the moment, she like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm cute. Yes, he wants to fuck me. Yes, and then she goes back to being
Unfulfilled.
right.
Like you just got your back, you know, you just got your back blown out, but it doesn't matter because you at back and you I give you all of me. You make me feel like yeah, because what you expect? Look who
Yeah,
you giving yourself to. You know, look who
yeah,
you are actually, allowing to enter in your space like that. At this point, it's people who really don't deserve it, or you just moved hella fast, to the physical aspect of the relationship. So it will be interesting to see if we ever get to that place with Andy where she is matured enough to not allow sex to be like the number one thing in her
hmm
relationships. I'm interested to see what that version of herself will look
me
like.
too, me too.
I'm so interested, but I don't know if we're going to get there. I would love to
Also,
see it though.
I would love to see it too. I also think that she gives love via gifts and
Oh, yeah.
words of affirmation, which to me, she does so in the most surface level ways. Like, she has the two love languages that she can kind of like skate by with the most surface level effort, and that's what she
Mhm.
does.
Yeah.
Hate that for her, but alas, it's Andy.
I'm
What
in
we gonna
total
do?
agreement with that. Total agreement with that one.
What we gonna do, child? Um. Okay. Mm-mm-mm.
Who's
How do you
next?
think status and achievement came into play when establishing her love language?
Hmm. How do I? I'm laughing because okay, I'm gonna be real with you. What I thought, how status and achievement as it correlates to her love language. Um, I thought about the fact that she is a lawyer, so she does spend a lot of time around certain men, and I don't know. Andy kind of made me think about women, and I don't want to offend anybody, but she made me think about those women that when you are in a lot of circles that maybe not everybody else will have the opportunity to
Access.
access or whatever, you may get looked at by because for me, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I believe that Andy may have had some white men on her roster as well, throughout her time. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Andy has a certain type of man that she turns that on for. So I believe a lot of the when it comes to her status, you mean like her status as a lawyer or her status as like her financial um
However you interpret it, her status, the how has status and achievement factored into her love language? I personally feel like it has seduced her into believing, or not necessarily believing. One, it has seduced her in a way that she doesn't even really think about it, but it has seduced her in a way of leaning towards love languages that don't actually service who she is internally. And she's only
mhm.
worried about scratching surface level itches because she's only thinking about status and achievement most of the time.
Yeah, I would say it has seduced her to be the seducee.
Mm.
Like these things have seduced her, and I always go back to what Morris told her. like how these men look at you. I don't believe that Andy is oblivious to that though. Like I don't believe for a minute she doesn't know how she is looked upon, how she's represented because her love language and because of who I'm around. I think she gets off on it. Like I
Mm.
really do. I really believe that Andy, that's why in the previous, videos we talked about the thing with Paris is almost like, yeah, I can kind of see myself falling for him, but he don't,
Right.
he don't meet what I'm used to. So nah, like I look
Right.
sexy, but I'm not gonna give you that because you're not in that status quo for me. So that's how I kind of look at it. Like she's seduced by that to be the seduced to a certain type of man.
Mm.
That was
Unfortunately.
a good question. That's a great question.
As I said, I don't think that Andy truly understands or knows her love languages, and we may never get the Andy that even goes searching for that because she might not be confronted in a way where she's forced to reflect in that way. I think that all of that is supported by her vapid approach to relationships, her pattern to being attracted to status over substance, and allowing status to trap her into toxic and problematic circumstances. That is what kept her with Gary for so long, because you're never going to convince me that Andy really loved Gary. I'm not even fully understanding or in the place of believing that Andy knows what love is, but that's a whole other conversation, I suppose. And then I think her confusion about what truly fulfills her emotionally is like the nail in the coffin to prove all of this for me. Like for us to be at a place in season 8 where she's going now running after Robin because she just got to have him, and it's like, girl, you ain't looked this man's way in the past 2 damn seasons. The last time that you engaged with him, you were pissed because he was calling you a trollop. That you actually are. I'm gonna say the thing. We're in hiatus, so we're gonna tell the truth. He called you the trollop that you actually are, and you're mad about it, but you wasn't mad when Gary was tossing holes off the top of parking garages, putting chain link ass rings on your finger, squeezing all the life out of your body, dropping you off in the middle of the goddamn country with nobody to walk a green mile back to civilization. But you're mad that Robin ran your whole facts real quick in an insecure moment for himself.
Yes.
And then the moments before that, he was stringing you along a little bit like a fiddle, exposed you to what we believe is your first threesome, had you twisted. But now all of a sudden you so deeply in love, you got to give it a chance when you've been hunching on the wannabe congressman, councilman, whatever the hell that man was, faithfully for the last season and a half.
Yes, ma'am.
Andy, your coochie blows with the wind, honey. You don't know what you're doing.
Whatever way it go, wherever way it flow, that's where it to go.
Child. So yeah,
Period.
I believe that she doesn't know what her love languages are. We again tell us in the comment section what you think in the chat. How
Yes.
you feel about it, and then what do you believe her love languages to be? We already talked about some of the key moments being tied. I just kind of gave them to y'all with the Carrie and the Rob and the others. Did I miss anything, Allie?
Oh, with Gary?
No, period. If did I miss anything in reference to pointing out the disconnect in her
Oh
understanding
no,
of her
we
love
I mean yeah, we,
language.
we got that. Yeah, we got that. Yeah. Mhm.
How do you think her
Mhm.
understanding her true love languages could help her improve her relationship choices?
Oh my gosh, it will. I'm gonna tell you the first thing that popped in my mind is when Andy get to that place of like true clarity of self.
Mm.
It made me think about her relationship with Karen. And I don't know if we really consider it or really dissect it, but it has been so incredibly obvious that that relationship to me has suffered greatly
Mm.
because of the things that Andy refused to acknowledge within herself.
Yeah.
We have seen her gravitate more towards Fatima when it comes to her, I guess, interpersonal relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and because she doesn't, she can hide behind the phoniness of who she is. So when you get into the people who really know you, you're not. I feel like once that happens, we will see a different type of relationship dynamic between her and Karen. That was the first thing I thought about. And even with the people that she chooses, I think that let's just say Robin is the one that they have for her. I think those conversations will have substance. Not just, oh, I love you and I'm this, but for her to be able to verbalize the reasons why this man is beneficial in her life, because Andy just gets away with being so incredibly surface about
Yeah,
everything.
about
She really
everything.
does. Yeah,
That is so
everything. So I believe
true.
like, yeah, so I think like
I
once
think our
that
whole
happens,
world opens up. I think that we
oh,
actually get to see what
absolutely.
life looks like now because honestly, going into season 9, girl, what the hell does life look like now? You've never talked about wanting kids. You don't even fully talk about being like auntie life for Karen's kids. You've been half-ass showing up for your friends for the last 4 damn seasons. You're now in love with this man when you was trying to sell us that you was in love with that man. Meanwhile, you were still running behind that other man. I think that if
Mhm.
she actually aligned with her true love languages and got to a deeper understanding of herself and what she really, really, really needs to flourish in love and feel supported, then we will watch an Andy not only walk into a better season of thriving at the law firm, but a more fuller life that is not just propped up with this damn penthouse and this Bentley that you drive and these little cute ass suits that you put on, but she would actually become a badass woman who is operating in a fullness that would rival any other character on the damn show. Like and KJ has it in reference to talent to be able to deliver a
Oh yeah,
multi-dimensional Andrea Barnes that has like gone through a self-reflective period and awakening and a deepening. I feel like Andy could quickly become just like a revolutionary character to watch her find some damn depth later in life. It would change everything.
it would. I would be able to understand, and I would be able to understand more intently as to why she's supposed to be the main character.
Hmm.
Like if that was to happen, it's like okay, I get it now. I get it, and not only that, I see it because at this moment, it doesn't give main character energy. It's like she the main
Hello.
character because it's like she's the main character because Tyler says she's the main character.
Yeah.
Okay,
And because at the time she had the
yeah,
most notoriety when they launched, coming off
right,
of like Family Business.
exactly. Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
we both voted yes for Karen knowing her love languages. What do you think
Yes.
Karen's love language for receiving love are? Top two.
Um, I'm going to say, I believe acts of service and words of affirmation.
Really?
The top two.
I agree with I agree with acts of service. I don't agree with words of affirmation.
Yeah.
I think
What's your top
quality
two?
time is her second one.
Okay, I can rock with that too.
I think quality time because how much stuff did Aaron say that she was just not hearing? Aaron kind of affirmed her from the very
He did.
goddamn on jump, and she was just like, "I hear you though, but
Yeah.
the way I feel, the way I see it, the what I
Yeah.
know, something don't feel right. You ain't right."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if nothing proved to me that words of affirmation, and maybe she's also the girl who just has to feel like it's genuine, which is also tied to sometimes her projection of what's possible. Cool, cool, cool. But words of affirmation to me do not rank that high. And partially it's because I feel like Karen is a character that believes people can say anything. It's about what you do.
So when you think of for you individually, excuse me, when you think about words of affirmation, when it comes to someone's love language, like how do you perceive that?
Um, that the person needs to hear someone telling them how beautiful they are, how nice they are, how
Okay.
kind they are, how amazing they are, how loving they are, all of the things that they are, just
Okay.
like affirming them.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm just curious, like how like because I think with because I guess for me from I would say my reason why I said words of affirmation because I instantly only thought about it as it pertained to um Aaron, Lord, I forget his name, as it pertains to, as it pertains to Aaron. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about the times that like when Karen was like, I don't want to say she was in a defeated mindset, but in some instances she was, when she kept apologizing for being so effed up.
Mm-hmm.
For being, undecisive, for being like not being able to make a decision about what she wanted. And the way that Aaron was able to provide the words that she needed, like in that season of her life where she really couldn't see her way out of this place that she was in.
But do you think that
So I
those
was
words
so
made a difference
to
overall?
some extent,
In the
I'm gonna
moment,
say
I
to
felt
some
like they
extent.
made her feel nice in the moment, but I don't think that she put as much weight as people who really value words of affirmation. When I think of words of affirmation being your
I
love
would
language,
okay,
I feel like if somebody tells you something great about yourself, your day is made. If somebody tells you
gotcha.
this is cool, like, oh my God, this is amazing, your day has now turned around. I don't see Karen as that character. If Karen asses down and you come and say, girl, you killed it today at the salon, she's gonna be like, I know, but life sucks. You get what I'm saying? And I don't feel like
Yeah,
people like
but
words of affirmation
yeah,
do that. Like I feel like words of affirmation
yeah.
carry a weight for people who really, really value it. But again, that could
Okay.
just be
Well,
my
that okay.
perspective
So
because I don't value, not that I don't value words of
yeah.
affirmation, but if it doesn't, like if I don't also see it, it's kind
Hmm.
of null and void until I get to a
Yeah.
place where I
So
can
that's why I was
see it.
asking
And I
you.
feel like she might be
Yeah.
one of those too because Erin spent so much time telling her all of these things and she felt the need to still apologize. She felt the need to still shame herself. She felt the need to feel guilty and she still did certain things. I feel like if she valued words of affirmation to the degree of like it's being a high up love language, then Aaron would have gotten her earlier because he gave it to her
Okay.
from the jump.
Okay. Okay. That's why I asked, because I wanted to know if we
Ah.
were on the same kind of like the heavy emphasis on words of affirmation. Like, no, I need to hear this so that I feel validated, in this moment. I don't believe that Karen needs to hear certain things to be validated because I think however she's feeling that day, she's very much so comfortable with it. It
She
is what it
feeling
is.
it.
It is
Okay,
what
and
it
then look,
is.
let's
Yeah.
let's put her up
Yeah.
next to Andy. You said Andy was words of affirmation as well. How do these two
Hmm.
characters handle words of affirmation? Andy would hear words of affirmation from Gary, and she forgets he got a wife, two kids. Like
Right.
she like
Right.
it don't even matter. Nothing matters no more because this man said that he loves me and he wants to be with me forever. Wife?
Yes.
What wife?
Yeah. Yeah.
Karen would
Yeah. Come
never.
on, Lauren Hill. Yeah, come on, Lauren Hill and D'Angelo. Cause nothing even matters.
So
And it don't
that's how
matter.
I'm
It don't matter.
internalizing words of affirmation and like measuring it
Let's
up.
rock with it. Okay, so let's rock with that definition. Let's rock with your
Okay.
definition of words of affirmation because I ain't gonna lie. When you was like put them up against each other and how they value it, baby, Andy's clothes would be off with words of affirmation. Okay,
He
it don't.
had the
The
damn
words will be
sex
clothes will be
therapist
slap
in
off.
the bed. And all he gotta do is say some stuff. She trying to sleep with him. Did you have sex with him in this bed? All he had to do is
Right.
after he just like shamed her was turn around and be like, but you know I love you, and then she'll be back. Like Andy, all you gotta do is
Yeah.
tell her something nice. Say something sweet.
Yeah. Tell me something good. That's it. That's it. But yeah,
But
that's why I
but
was
but
like,
but Karen, no, like there was plenty of times where Aaron was talking that good, and it's just like, girl, just give him the coochie, and Karen is not there yet. It don't matter what sweet words coming out this man's mouth.
yeah, you ain't finna get it. You weren't finna get it until she was ready to give it to you.
Yeah.
Period. Period. Okay, so we'll go with that.
And then also, I think that
Yes.
in entering the series, we get to see that too because she's also maybe words of affirmation could have been one, but I think that Zach probably ruined that because she had heard so much before. So she was so
Yeah.
deep when we first meet her, and part of the thing of like, oh, Aaron is too good to be true. Because like I didn't heard all this before. She said it. Like Zach was the exact same way. So that's all of
Hmm.
that is what's doing it for me of like, yeah, words of affirmation is down there. because she needs to
Yeah.
see to believe. She's in that place right now. I think that we could be going
Yeah.
in a place where she gets back to that, like in a relationship with Aaron. I think that those words could be way more important, but that's only because she's in the safety of a healthy relationship where she don't have to
Yeah.
contend with quality time comes natural because he ain't gonna never leave her side if she don't stop pushing him
Yeah.
away. um Acts of service is built in because that's who that nigga is. So I think
That's who he
also
is.
like your love languages can shift not only based off of the season that you're in and the journey that you're on, but also the people that you're engaging with.
Mhm.
And you can put more value on something and less value on other things based off of what is already readily available.
Yeah.
Come on, that's a
I agree.
word. I think I needed to hear that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not me having the love
That's a
languages that
real
I
thing.
have because the shit ain't readily available. And if y'all asses make it readily available, I'll find some other love languages.
Hey, okay. It'll be something different.
Whew. How do you think that
That's
she
fun.
gives love?
I would say quality time and acts of service. Because she
I would
almost makes
reverse
me think
them.
about,
I would reverse them.
huh?
I would reverse them, but yes.
So acts of service first,
Mm-hmm.
and then quality time.
She always want to save some goddamn body.
Yeah.
She think that
I was
saving
gonna say
people
she do that
is
thing with Sabrina.
yeah, stepping in. We gonna figure it
Figure it.
out. Oh my god, the first two seasons with Andy, we gonna figure this out. It's nothing to figure out. She's hunched on a married man, Karen. You got it figured out, baby. It's figured. But we gonna play into
Yeah.
this whole, oh my god, what's gonna happen, girl? I got you. I'm standing right here with you. The woman who jumps right in the trenches with you values acts of motherfucking service. Because why are you down there with that hoe? Why are you there?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to myself when I say that. There's so many points in my life, bitch. Why are
Yeah.
you in that hole with that hoe? Why are you in there?
Yeah.
But that's for
Yeah.
me. I mean, Allie, you know, we don't have to agree on everything. You could think that quality
Yeah.
time is more, but Karen is just so willing to throw herself into everybody's shit. So willing.
She is. And I think the reason why for me I put quality time first and then acts of service because we have seen a shift in how she is there for people. Like there's been a direct like how she like you said the first two seasons with Andy and that darn Gary. It was more so, nah, friend, I'm gonna keep your secret, friend. He ain't that bad, friend, but he is bad, friend. She didn't shift it until Gary almost, sent Andy up to glory.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, hell no, I'm not. No, it was like F Gary from that point. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that how her and it could be because of how her friends were treating her. She began to show up for them to me in a different manner. Like I'm showing up, but there is a change. I think the only person that she really still showed up for in the Karen way was Sabrina.
I
Danny
think
was
that
kind
you're
of
right
like,
about the transformation, but I also think acts of service is also when you enable people and when you
okay,
bridge gaps that you should not necessarily be bridging. So maybe she wasn't physically showing up and physically putting herself in there, but I feel like it's an act of service to apologize to Daniela King when you know that her ass is dead ass wrong, but you wouldn't have did the beef.
ooh, Lord
That
Jesus.
was an act of service because you know that you're not wrong, but you still apologize any goddamn way. So I agree
That's true.
100% that the way that she did it transformed, but the intention and the
Yeah.
sentiment to what the hell she was doing was still the same. I want this to happen, and she ain't gonna apologize. She ain't gonna really mean it. You know what? I'll do it, cause fuck it.
Yeah, Lord. And I hate that for her. Cause she did it with so not with Danny and
Andy.
every time I think of it, and every time I think about it, I wanna punch Andy. Like if I could really punch a character, I just think about Karen opening up, coming through that penthouse, seeing Andy and Fatima hugging, and she goes there to apologize to Andy for you not telling me I'm in a picture that's floating around Atlanta. I will never get over that. And that helpful. I know I should apologize to Andy. I was kind of mean to it. It says
Mm-mm.
She deserved it. But yeah, I agree with that. That mess pissed
It's
me off.
also, and
So
this
what
one,
you
this one about to
apology looking
hit
for?
hard, really, really hard, and I'm about to be speaking to my own goddamn truth, and that's fine, cause I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's an act of service to go and do the work that your friends won't, all because you want to save y'all damn friendship or hold on to it deeply. That is also
Mm,
acts of service. It might not feel like it because it's outward, but the woman who is
yeah.
constantly searching herself for how they gonna make it work, how can you bridge the gap, how can you fix it when the other person ain't doing it, that is an act of goddamn service. Yes, you wind up
Yeah.
benefiting from it. Hopefully, if you don't shame yourself and guilt yourself too damn much and blame yourself too damn much, once you come up out of the bush and actually can see that you might not be the problem. But the act of actually doing that is leading from the spirit of like, okay, if I just fix it and I gotta fix me to fix it. No, it's them hoes sometimes. It's them hoes.
It's, oh, it's nice in some hoes sometimes. It's some hoes. Yeah, that was funny. But yes, I agree wholeheartedly. It's them hoes. Mm-hmm.
um,
Sure do.
I and we talked about Karen knowing her love language. Do you think that she has always known, or do you think that this is something that we have watched her grow into, or did she have that before when the series first started, before we even met her?
It may, Karen is a character because I think out of all the women, we know most about her background. And it makes me think that Karen has always been like a woman who was, or even a child who was very much so aware of her love languages, whether she didn't know that was the verbiage form. I believe she's
Mm.
always known them, probably from a younger age, because your dad was popping in and out, your mom is on active duty, who's a Marine, you're being raised by your grandmother. So I do believe that she's always known that. But just like many other women, you got with a man who was physically sexy, who was, D'ing you down well, and you kind of get to a place where you no longer even care about what those things are. And I believe, um, due to her meeting Aaron, kind of reinforcing those things back into her orbit, into her life again, that she was standing on those principles that she had from the very beginning. So I feel like she's a character that has always known.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that you could be right. There could be a great amount of understanding and knowledge without necessarily the verbiage to articulate it. And I think
Hmm.
now that we see her going into a season of getting into this healthy relationship with Aaron, she's fully arrived at a place where she not only knows but she can articulate it. Um, and that is actually really really beautiful to see. Um, I would also argue that maybe Aaron wasn't the thing that fully made her like evolve in the understanding of her love languages, but he is the like ultimate boss and the like the affirmation stage, because it to me was her getting to a place of accepting him, understanding that he's real, understanding that his love is real, his love for her is real, everything he brings to the table for her is real, and that she's deserving of it, is the best actual manifestation of like your love languages coming true that I could ever like speak to. Like, not only do she know what she wants, and she honestly spoke to that like back in season 1, when she was telling Zach the type of man that she wanted. Ultimately she was communicating her love languages in that, even though she didn't say this is my love language. um and then we proceed to watch her go on and struggle with actually surrendering to a man who possessed those things. But now we're at a place where she is surrendering to the love that she has for that man, um which is the ultimate affirmation. So like, she might have had a thought, but now she no.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Karen has
Yeah.
grown so much in self awareness while also still like starting off at a place that I think that the girls, she was already like years ahead of them.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think her relationship with Aaron has shown better alignment with her love languages? Because that's one of the things that stick out for me. It's like, girl, if you knew, like, I struggle with the idea of like her knowing, but I do agree, like you said, I think she did have a certain level of awareness. But then why in the hell was you fooling around with Zach if you knew what the hell you needed? Because she thought she could change
think
him.
that I think that sometimes I'm just gonna speak from personal experience. There have been, and I don't know what word for that is. Maybe it's stupidity. I don't know. But there have definitely been moments in my life or a moment in my life where I was dealing with someone that I really have said, Alicia, what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a situation where it was like I knew better, but I wanted what I wanted, and in that moment, I was okay with the decision that I was making. Like, I know this ain't what it is, but I'm going to enjoy it until it's no longer enjoyable, and I'm
Mm.
going to just go with the flow. Now, unlike Karen, I didn't fall in love with him. Like, I don't know, and maybe I don't know what this is, and it just be toxicity or whatever, but I have dealt with people where it's like this is a sexual thing. You are never someone that I would invest an emotional attachment with. I would never do that. And if I found myself kind of falling a little bit, I just call some distance. And then when that has worn off, then we can jump back and do our little thug dizzle and
Mm.
leave it at that. But I do think sometimes, even the greatest of women fall for people who they should not have fallen for. And I think that there is sometimes a struggle with knowing what is best for you and then sometimes desiring what is not best for you and still going along with it. Because it's like evident, you watching Sistas and you're like, why are you choosing this bastard? When you
Mm.
clearly got Aaron over here and to know that that was a true tug of war. We
Yeah.
really saw that struggle. And I do believe that sometimes as women, I don't know, Eric, because sometimes I feel like we set ourselves up for the okie doke, or sometimes I've seen friends who have believed, girl, I'm in control. And control shows you just how much you're not in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, gotcha.
I think
You
that
done
also
got caught up
speaks
with,
to our, however, like we receive love.
hmm
Um, in a case of like a Karen and a Zach, because I like really, really identify with that, and I think that to your point of like so many things that you're speaking to right now, part of it is not even just like the forfeiting of how you know you deserve to be loved, but there's a certain thing, and I don't know exactly the words to communicate this in the best way, so y'all let me know if y'all get it in the chat, and Ellie, let me know if you pick up what I'm putting down. But there's something for us as black women in America, sometimes, that has been normalized in us, and for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say competition. But you meet a challenge like loving a man like Zach who is not loving you properly, but you convince yourself at some point that your interest in him that has now developed into what you think is love, usually is definitely maybe a deep lust. um you convince yourself that all that comes with you, all that what you bring to the table, and your ability, your capacity to love is going to be the thing that helps tip the tide. And all he needs is to know that you got him. All he needs is to be affirmed by you. All he needs is to be supported by you. And then it's almost like, well, it's almost like gambling in a sense. It's like, I just gotta put this quarter in this slot machine, pull it down. Oh, it didn't come. Let me put another quarter in. I think that that is what we got to see play out with Karen and Zach, and it's easier to negotiate away your needs when you think that you're earning the receipt of them later on. When quiet is kept, you deserved them from the start, baby. You never had to earn being
yes,
loved appropriately. And
yes,
that's the thing that we wind up going on a journey with these F boys in the relationships, and we have to, like, I guess, learn or relearn. Did that make sense?
yeah. Yeah, it does. And I think sometimes because it's for me, a lot of my stuff happened like in my early 20s. So by the age of
Mm.
25, my rendezvous with F boys was done. Like it was. hell, maybe even 24. That life, now I think about it, probably like 23. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was 23 years old. I have experienced like every F boy that would ever come into my life. And so from that moment on, the people who I did connect with were upstanding men. But it was like during that time when I was, 20 and learning myself and certain things of that nature, it was easy for me to fall into the thing of, oh, this feels good, so I'm gonna go with it. So
Mm-hmm.
having to learn that just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you, and it doesn't mean that you should entangle yourself, in that situation. And sometimes, when you're young, I get it. As we get older, making certain decisions because they feel good, like we know like that probably is not the best thing for me to do, but because I feel like there are some inadequacies in my life, or maybe there's just certain things I'm just trying to do in the moment to satisfy a need or an urge, and then we find ourselves just getting caught up,
Mm-hmm.
in situations. And I don't know, I guess it's kind of how I feel about the character of Fatima in a sense, somewhat. um
Mm-hmm.
but when I think about, just women on our journey of discovery and the stuff that we pick up along the way.
Yeah.
And sadly, sometimes those emotional connections that we make, we truly have to war to rid
Mm-hmm.
ourselves of them.
Yes,
So
Lord.
so just to all the women who listen, even to the men who listen, and there are some women y'all may have connected, with along your journey, and you're trying to rid yourself of that connection, and whatever the case may be. I just think that when we look at the big scope of things, we would be so extra mindful about who we connect to.
Whew. Say
If we could
that.
see, if we could see, we'd be like,
All that
nah, bro,
comes with
I'm
it.
good. Yes, all that comes with it. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
baby, because I'm telling you, honey.
You right about that, Ellie. You are right about that, darling. Okay. Um and yeah, we spoke to that. Like Karen's relationship with Aaron definitely shows a better alignment with her love
Oh,
languages, both in
okay.
how she receives them and how she gives them, because she can now fully and freely give of herself in a way that not only Aaron deserves, but how she actually wants to, so that she does get that gratification of loving somebody and getting that love reciprocated, so it feels so symbiotic in a way that feels like, okay, this feels right. Love, 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 love that for her. Is there any place that you feel like Aaron and Karen are mismatched with their love languages? Earlier on, yes, because he was definitely like, he gave love with words of affirmation, but I also feel like he could be a man that like tries to speak to or give what he think you need, and at
But
that
he
time
thinks
he
you
felt like she
need.
needed that. I don't know, we need to get
Yeah.
more screen time with Aaron Carter for me to know, but
That would help, because that would really help, because I'm thinking about, like, I wasn't really thinking about the past them, but that
mm,
does, I do agree with that. I think that in the beginning he was definitely giving Karen what he felt that she needed in those moments, whether it was, accurate or not. um However, recently it feels that they are very much so aligned
mm-hmm,
with their love language. And you know I don't know, we don't know what's to come for the most part, but they seem to be very much in line with their love languages.
mm,
So yeah,
I would agree. How do
I
you
can't see
feel?
where they're too off.
Me either, not now. Before, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before, 100%.
Absolutely.
How do you think Aaron speaks her love language more effectively than Zach did?
Hell, I don't feel Zach spoke. I just think Zach spoke penis, you know.
He did also do words of
But
affirmation, but there was nothing to them. There was no action behind them.
yeah, and I feel like he did it to get coochie. Like, and maybe
Mm.
that's just like, the way that I'm thinking about him in this moment. But I think that with
And he didn't do acts of
with
service well. And that was, I feel like
No.
that has been her number one and probably will be her number one for a while. And that already puts him in a place of disconnection, because if my number one love language is acts of service and you never serve me, you never protect me, like you never put me in a position
Yep.
where I feel like you are stepping in and interceding to make my life easier, I'm going to feel like you
Yeah.
don't love me, because you don't do the one thing
Yeah.
that I deem to be like, oh my God, this is love.
Yeah. Now let's go ahead and deal with this. I know we're gonna say it in the comments. Yes, we know that Zach got stabbed. Okay? Because I know Erica, I know they gonna come and
Oh.
say that. They gonna come and say it. So we know that Zach got stabbed. We knew that he was there. He was actually there to get her back, and it just so happened to be a situation going on when he arrived. And yes, he did help. Yes, he did step in. Because I know
But that I
the
don't even feel like
mindset.
it's
I
act
know.
of service. It feels like it was more of like a survival thing and an ego thing for him. I think the biggest
Yeah.
act of service that Zach has ever done is when he was pushing himself to let Karen go, even though he was saying like, just don't get too serious with that man. That to me is the
Hmm.
greatest act of service, when he realized like, you are not who she actually needs in this time. You cannot be the man that she deserves. So let her go and experience men who can give her more. You can love her down, but to me, the greatest act of service could be for that Zach character would be the act of like letting her go and releasing her. Yes, you got stabbed, but that has so many other things tied to it. It wasn't specifically just in service of her. It wasn't.
Yeah, we are on the same page. Because I was literally gonna say the best act of service that Zach has ever done was letting Karen go. Like really, like leaving her alone for real.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the greatest thing he's done, just across the board. With Aaron,
And then Aaron turned around and did it
it,
better. Mm.
Jenna, whenever you need me, call me. But I think that in all seriousness, like Aaron's ability to be effective in the love language, we said quality time. Which one we said was first? Quality time or acts of
I
service? I
said
can't remember
acts
which
of
one we
service
did
was
say.
first. I said acts of
Acts
service
of
was
service
first,
first.
and then
Yeah,
quality time.
and we're seeing that not only, I think it's so beautiful because we're seeing that not only on the romantic aspect of their relationship currently, but also on the professional side
Mm-hmm.
of their relationship and what he's able to provide there. And they just seem so they seem very in sync,
And the seeds for the like
aligned.
quality time was there before. She was like, I want you to be here when I get back, and they were going to go grocery shopping together. That
What?
trying to do life together
Yes.
is a telltale sign immediately.
Okay. He was like, "Did I do something?" She was like, "No, I just wanted to see you." I said, "Well, tell him, girl. I just wanted to see. I just wanted you here." Do you know, baby? I used to date this guy, and that was like one of our things. We would go to Walmart at like 12,
Mm,
1 o'clock in the morning and go grocery and go grocery shopping. Wasn't a lot of people in there at the time, but it was
yep.
like that was something that he
Yep.
enjoyed. I would rather be home, sleep, or chilling. But that's the time he wanted to go to the grocery store, so that's the time we went to the grocery store, and it was like we talked about our day, and it was
Yeah.
just really really cute. And so I know that, and I think that's a great thing because sometimes a person's the way they receive love can sometimes make you uncomfortable or put you out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
However, when you do have the desire to make that person feel loved in the best way possible,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, you'll do it. So,
A hundred
yeah,
percent. A
yeah.
100%. Alrighty.
But Karen,
Do we go to Fatima first or Danny? Danny is actually next on the list, but
oh, I guess say Danny next, Miss Confusion. Child, what do you you know?
what does her reaction to relationships reveal about her needs when it comes to love? She needs to feel seen. She needs to feel heard. She needs her perspective to be valued. So maybe words of affirmation,
I would say words of affirmation. Mm-hmm.
but then she needs you to back up them words. But then no, she also puts a very unhealthy stake on physical, like on sex, like a really
Yeah.
really unhealthy one.
Mm-hmm.
So is that her love languages? Words of affirmation and physical touch?
Physical touch.
Child.
It's yeah.
So all he got to do is tell you you great and blow your back out, and that's it. You'll marry him. You'll hate his kids,
You'll
but you'll
marry.
marry him, girl.
Mm, as long as he give you that good, you will. Yeah.
How do you feel like she
He-
expresses affection to others?
Lord,
She
it
don't.
was in my mind. It was. I agree. Say she don't. I was just gonna say she don't, honey. The only affection I
Damn.
think she don't.
Yeah, because even when she show up, I feel like she be showing up with the intention of I want to know the tea, not girl. I got you.
I'm literally
She
trying to
don't be
think of
affirming
the.
her friends. She always playing them down. Like Karen is about to have babies. She's like, well, you know she about to be in trouble. Now, oh, she about to be super mom. Like, girl,
Yeah, yeah. She just don't.
she don't express
That's it.
affection to others. If she can't go on them, then there is no way of her communicating the affection, which is probably why we see her be a terrible ass friend because she ain't
Mm-hmm.
sleeping with him. If she can make her
Ends up
friends
with them.
orgasm, then that would be the way that she. Wow, Daniela,
Mm-hmm.
girl,
She don't.
this is a two-bit trifling ass mess. You ask me.
I'm gonna tell her like my ex boyfriend told me. Only time you act like you love me is when I'm sliding up in you. Basically, that's what. That's what I get.
And she wasn't even doing
That's what
nothing.
I
She ain't
get.
driving nobody to work.
She
She
wasn't
ain't cooking no
there. No.
meals. She ain't got no damn food in
Ain't
her house. First time we seen her cook the
no.
whole time, she was trying to prove something wrong for her damn therapy session and trying to kick a habit.
Yes.
Girl,
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Daniela is in
Mm-hmm.
trouble.
Girl, ain't she? Yeah. Cause she just don't.
What do you think the mismatch is between how she receives love and gives it? I guess the mismatch is because she don't damn give it. Well,
She don't
physical
give
touch. She
it.
gives it with physical touch. So that's why she can only connect with people that she can actually physically.
That she with the man that she, yeah. It's I promise like with Danny, like I was saying earlier in the beginning of the video, it was like when I was really like sitting with these characters for this video, and like just the epiphany of I'm like Danny just don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so confused about and the more I sit with her, it's like I don't understand why Tony is with this woman. I've always said that, but
Yeah.
I really don't. I really don't know. I do not know why these people are friends with her. I really don't know because she does not show any type of affection. She does not
Mm-hmm.
show any type of loyalty. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't.
Same.
Not in any way.
So maybe she does know her love language and those two are it?
Hmm.
You think she knows? But see, then I would feel like that would be saying that she has some kind of command or understanding of her emotional needs. And I don't think that she's that tapped into herself.
I don't think she does. I don't think she does. I just think it almost kind of makes me think about Andy. Like I think Andy enjoys getting gifts. I think um Danny enjoys having sex. Like I think those are just things that she enjoys
But
for the
okay,
moment. For
but
what really.
Andy, right? Andy, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
enjoys getting gifts because of how that makes her look. Which makes me believe that I don't think that she enjoys getting gifts. People who really enjoy getting gifts, you will get that gift and you would just be so happy to get that gift regardless of who saw it. So much of the stuff that Andy
Mm-hmm.
wound up getting, I feel like it becomes things that she could parade in front of her friends and make her feel like she's like, oh yeah, I'm this because I got this. And tell me if I'm reading it wrong,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about the things that we have seen her receive.
the
That her like when
penthouse,
she got
the
the
Bentley,
$1 million.
the
Uh
money.
huh. Her and uh huh. So it's almost like if she was to get something in secret, I'm not gonna say secret. If she was to receive something in private, would Andy value it enough for it to just be
Right.
between her and the person that gave it to her?
Right.
No, it's
I
gonna
don't
be
think she
something that she's
would.
gonna have. Everybody gonna have to see me.
Or it won't hit the same. It
So
won't
yeah,
be of anything. don't even know if she was really bought into the Bentley and the penthouse until she took Karen on that damn ride, and she got Karen like, girl, why we in this thing? And then the girls walking like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? Like she was
Yeah.
already to hand the shit back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with and then see, then that brings me over to Danny, because while Danny has a lot of sex, we know that is a trigger from trauma. So is she really
Yeah.
enjoying it if she's using it as a way to like one up the men so that she don't get abused by these men? Like I'm having a hard time believing, girl, you actually enjoy this if you using this as a tactic to make sure they don't get you before you get them.
Yeah.
I don't be thinking about that when it comes time to do the horizontal tango, baby.
I don't either. Or is it that you enjoy it, but you don't like that you have to do it? Like
Mm.
you enjoy how it feels, but you don't like the
The
fact that you have
circumstances
to
to which it
perform this act.
happens.
Yeah.
And you have yet to find a place that's a safe circumstance to actually. Mm, I think you onto something there, Ellie.
Yeah, it's deeper down.
Y'all
Yeah,
tell us what you
it's
think in the
all.
chat, chat. Because Danny
I'm
is giving
so interested
enigma.
in seeing what y'all think. I am so interested
Because there's such a
in reading these
contradiction in what
comments.
she says she wants versus what she accepts versus what she
Yeah.
gives. So it's very hard to pinpoint. And, we talked about, her background with trauma and abuse and
Hmm.
how that could have been informing her love language that we see her operating, her love language that we see her operating today. Um,
Yeah.
do you think that her relationships with Preston and then Tony reinforce where she is with her love languages, or um created some type of conflict and made her reconsider them at any point?
It's interesting because being that I don't think Danny knows them, it made me feel. I will say this: when Preston gave her that ultimatum, I believe it was something that did hurt her or let her know I'm about to go marry this other, this other chick or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many like unresolved feelings about Danny because I don't know what she was hurt by. Like, were you hurt that you were given an ultimatum? Were you
Mm.
hurt that Preston felt that there was no more value in dealing with you and your BS? Did you feel, were you hurt because he was about to go marry someone? Like, I don't know what she was hurt by. I know I didn't care for the ultimatum for several reasons, but I don't know what was it about that situation that actually hurt Danny. And the reason why I say hurt is because she got emotional about it. She was about to cry. At her job, but I don't know the reason for it though, because they don't really go too deep. With these women, so I don't know what she was actually hurt by. But I think that it probably gave her more of a guard going in with Tony,
Mm.
but it's just like I don't know what to assign her love languages as. So I don't know how to, like, I guess, effectively answer that question. I just believe that Danny was
Well,
just
we
moving
we're
from a
saying
place.
we're saying that her love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation.
Yeah, yeah,
I would kind of, I guess, lean towards they did affirm that because she didn't allow them to do anything else. When they were telling her what she wanted to hear, everything was fine. When they were blowing her back out, everything was fine. The problems only come up when they threw flags on the play about what was happening and if there was something deeper and if she needed to actually explore what was going on because she's not okay, even though she wants everybody to believe that she's okay. Maybe.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something to be said because even the whole situation with Jonah, that situation came and went. Like, she literally went to work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And she never dealt with that. Then when she started seeing Carisha, we did find out that she was in an abusive relationship, I believe in college it was, or a prior relationship, but it was nothing else was done. So it's like you just kind of you have these experiences and you just move on. Have these experiences, and move on. Same with Preston. You have these experiences and you move on. But like you said, the, her love languages, they didn't do anything. They didn't. I don't know if they really service her, but they didn't do any more than what she allowed them to do.
Yeah.
So
Because she hasn't even engaged in them in a real way. Like, I think for her, the way that it would be a little bit different than how we talked about everybody else in reference to like her having a greater awareness of her love languages and really knowing herself in a better way would require for her to unpack the trauma tied to her like establishing them. So like understanding that you want words of affirmation because you have been belittled and abused and people have talked nasty to you, so you ultimately want people to talk nice to you. But they can't just say nice things to you. They have to go a step further and it has to be backed up. When it comes to physical touch, you need somebody to push you to explore other ways of intimacy, similar to what we was talking about with Andy, because the sexual one comes with so much trauma. And while you can find spots to enjoy it, I think that you won't truly be able to be free in receiving love via physical touch until you disassociate physical touch as sex only and you experience true intimacy in other ways while in proximity to somebody, and then that also will help create the veil of safety that you ultimately don't never really get to experience with these men in a real way. So she desperately really does need to, one, if she's not aware of these love languages, learn them, but then also understand how they have been informed by her trauma so that she can request, or not even request, demand love in a way that's healing for that trauma and still acknowledges the desire that's tied to the love languages that she kind of like best associates with. And then from there, once she finds safety in that, then maybe she's will be open to not only receiving love in different ways, but then ultimately being able to give love. Cause you
yeah,
don't hoe.
you took. I wasn't gonna say hope, but you took the words right out of my mouth as you were speaking because I was like, and then that would be the thing because so many times people associate sex penetration with physical touch. And as we
Mm-hmm.
stated earlier, there's so much more to physical touch than just the act of having sex. There's so much more to intimacy than sex because you can definitely have sex and ain't no intimacy in it whatsoever. And we've only got an opportunity to see that through the character Karen as far as being intimate with a man and sex wasn't involved. So that brings people closer to it. And just like we said with Andy, if Danny ever gets to that place, I can only imagine what the character would look like because I do imagine that maybe, she could be a good friend. She could
Mm-hmm.
be a great partner because I have yet to see her be a great partner. I have yet to see Danny actually be a great friend.
Yep.
Everything kind of rolls on her time, what she wants, how I feel about it, this what it's going to be, and she kind of completely disregards the other person that's in the relational dynamic with her. So to see that happen, if and when, I think it'll be a great sight to see because I do believe that Mignon has the
A
capability of
hundred
bringing it out
percent.
in the character, in the character of Danny. So
A hundred
hopefully,
percent.
yeah, hopefully
All
we can
right,
see
that
it.
wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be,
It
child.
wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. It was bad though.
But okay, let's talk about little
And
Miss Fatima.
the other
What
question
is
mark.
her? What are her? How does she love to receive love? What are her top two love languages?
Um, I'm going to go with. It's so confusing to me. Um, I'm going to say physical touch, and I'm throwing a hail mary.
Uh, Interesting, because our
Probably,
physical touch is like, mm.
I don't know. These are both Hail Marys. I don't know. I don't think about it. I
I
don't
don't
think.
I don't know if physical
Uh,
touch. I'm only leaning against physical touch because it feels like more often when we see it happen, that's something to appease Zach. I feel like she, not that she don't enjoy sex, because cool, y'all have good sex,
mhm.
but it feels like she knows that Zach leads with that as like his like number one thing. So more often than not, especially when we got the whole like you sleeping with me 6 times a damn day and I'm raw down there, like I need to get you a toy.
Yeah.
It feels more like this isn't her thing, it's his, but she's trying to love him how he wants to be loved, and she wants him to feel valuable, and this is the way that he feels valuable, so she's allowing it to happen. How many
Yeah.
times do we see Fatima initiate the sex?
Very often. That's why I said both of these Hail Marys because I don't even have like I don't have and it's sad. I feel like her like with Danny, like we did a sign, and y'all these are just our own personal opinions. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
can
yeah.
agree or have your have your own. But it's just like I feel the same way about Fatima as I did with Danny. Like I really don't have because everyone that I look at, I'm just like, no,
I don't
nah, I
know.
don't know.
I'm starting to feel like Fatima's a little bit worse than that. Like once we started to unpack it, I'm like, okay, no, Danny's is definitely physical touch and words of affirmation. That feels very clear to me now.
Hmm.
Fatima, I know word. I mean, I know physical touch is not it, just because I don't feel like she initiates sex as much as Zach does, and she doesn't like pedestalize it the way that Zach does. I don't know. I also sometimes default to when I'm struggling to figure out how people best receive love. I default to how they give it because that would be like a cheat code sometimes. A lot of people give love the way that they would prefer to receive it. So maybe acts of service is. But then the mind comes because Zach don't do to serve her. But then also
And
we
see
know
that,
that that's like honestly the theme of their relationship because she's not requiring him to. So Allie, we got to
yeah.
think about it like she could have these love languages regardless of if he's having to meet them because he
Yeah.
hasn't had to be a better man to stay in this relationship with her. She is the one
Yeah.
who's meeting him. She's not forcing him to meet her. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
say acts of
I have
service is
acts of
one.
service, like acts of service, I actually have written down for her. But it's like I don't. When I think about acts of service, it's how I feel she gives love, and not necessarily how she receives love, or if that's I like honestly, and maybe you would have to more so take the lead on this one. I do not know what Fatima how she wants to receive love based on everything I know about this character, everything that I've seen. I cannot pinpoint out of these, love languages that
Mm.
we discussed. I cannot pinpoint with Fatima, and even like you said with Danny. With Danny, even though sex may be used as a tool, sex is something that Danny actually prioritizes and initiates.
Mm-hmm.
Like she does that. With Fatima in her relationship with Zach, I don't know what she prioritizes or what she initiates because he really don't do anything when it comes to
Okay,
how
so look
he
outside
shows
of
her.
it. Look outside of it. When
Hmm.
she dated the other dude who was trying to get somewhere, yes, she was into Zach, but then also if she was a girl of physical touch, she would have been a little bit more handsy with old random ass dude. She would have been a little bit more like she wasn't even in like she was so distracted with Paul. But she I did think was like getting into it with Paul when she was being heard. So that's what I'm
Hmm.
also thinking about, like acts of service. Like I'm thinking about them on that swing set.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, let me think about Paul. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, let me think about him. Maybe that will help me. Um. So when I think about Paul, I would say quality time will come up for me.
mm-hmm.
When I think about him. Um. And so maybe with Paul, I would say quality time and acts of service. But that probably
Yeah.
quality time would be number one when it comes to her
Yeah.
I ain't gonna entertaining him.
And quality time gets a little bit easier to relax in reference to standards because quality time could be you being fully present and like listening to me, or quality time could be you just in the
Yes.
same room with me. And since we live in a duplex with no walls in one room,
Hmm. Yeah.
Zach
That's
is
what I was thinking
always
about with
there.
Paul. He was very attentive just to hear her
Mm-hmm.
out. And then for me, when I think about, it makes me think also that physical touch wouldn't be too far off, because it Fatima definitely didn't mind initiating something with Paul, as you said, when she felt heard, or when you were spending quality
Mm,
time with me. Then maybe I would lean more so into that if I was getting that from you, Zach.
mm-hmm.
But because I'm not, I'm just doing my little girlfriend or fiance duties, to make sure you get off. But I really
Mm-hmm.
don't care if we do it or not, which that's the energy that Fatima definitely gives
Yeah,
with Zach when it comes to the sex part of their relationship, or just the intimacy aspect. But yeah, okay, so I'll go with those two.
I would agree.
Thank you for that, because I didn't even think about Paul,
Child, we unpacking it
but
together,
that sure
honey.
helped me.
She has been hard because it's a contradiction between her independent persona that she was originally presented with and then the relationship behavior that she displays with Zach. It's like, girl, which one is it? Which also begs the question of, has her love languages shifted since meeting Zach? And I would probably say maybe not, but she just hasn't required them to be met, if she ever required them to be met.
That is a good question. Ooh, has she ever required them to be met?
I don't think so,
I
unfortunately.
don't think she
I
has.
can't see it in her past, but I ain't Miss Cleo now. Call me now.
Well, let me know. I'm on the line. Um,
Hmm.
and I know people want to say certain things, but I think about just the course of their relationship. Fatima has definitely been that woman to say what she's not gonna put up with, and
And
then
then
turn
puts
around and
up
puts
with
up
it.
with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Immediately puts up with it.
I'm
Like,
talking about
Miss
same scene,
Girl, Miss Girl, Miss
same scene.
Girl.
I'm not dealing with that, Zach.
Facts.
And then you
And
deal with
here she
it.
go.
So yeah, so it's like,
Do you think that there was evidence of Fatima having self awareness towards her love languages early on? I don't know. The more that we have talked about her, especially after doing a
I was
Fatima
going to
episode
say,
last week, now I'm like,
I was going
no.
to say,
My perspective of her has shifted so much just in being in conversation with you, Allie, because like I did give her a lot of credit when she first entered the series, and now
mhm,
in like unpacking her with you, I'm like, no, she really wasn't who I thought she was.
yeah,
She was just a
y'all in
symbol.
for a treat. Yeah, y'all in for a treat when y'all listen to this Fatima video, because it's one of those things where I feel that everybody, like if you got a favorite character, and I hope that people even use our videos to even have conversations amongst themselves and with
Mm-hmm.
their friends to say, hey, okay, these are the people that we love on Sisters, but what's the reason why we actually love them? And look
Mm-hmm.
at, okay, their love languages. Oh, how do they interact with their friends? Like, to me, these videos are tools that can be used to really dissect the character that you may love so much,
A
and then
hundred
you really
percent.
may, you can say like, oh, okay, I'm on brand, or dang, when I break it down like that, sis
Right.
really ain't really doing nothing,
Literally.
or even like Fatima, like she came out very strong. She came out, like I said, what I'm not gonna deal with, and then she deals with it. So it's been a lot of contradictions in what she says she is going to accept in her life, and then what she actually puts up with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really been a, I it's something,
It's been a very
Erica,
interesting journey.
and I think it's been a journey. And I think for you more so, and where you originally aligned, Fatima in with the sisters circle, and then like really seeing it now, and it's like one of those things where just as excuse me, like a partner in this, like to have those real conversations and even having opposing views, and showing how black women can discuss things even if we may not agree, or we may view
Yeah.
things, differently. And
Yep.
it's like, okay, and this is the reason why I feel this way, or this is the I see it like this. And it's like, oh, okay, I could walk with that, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and these are my reasons why. And always when we get to the character of Fatima, is really she's an interesting character because for her to be so exalted and pushed up and adorned, there is really no substance to this character,
Yeah.
at all when you really break it down for what
Yeah.
it's worth. And yeah,
Do you think that her
yeah,
relationship with Zach has obscured the understanding that she may have had before, if any, as it pertains to
yeah,
like her love languages?
I do. And I can only go off what we've been told. So we know that after Ian, Fatima was on this thing of I'm gonna date, I do them boys like they do you, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like
Yep.
I'm in this for what I'm in it for, and that's just what it is. And I do at times, have a certain compassion and grace for Fatima because I felt like she was a woman who got caught up,
Mm.
who didn't intend on getting caught up. Like that's how I felt like she was a woman who got caught up, who didn't intend on getting caught up. And I have a story like that, honey. I got caught the hell up with a man who I never thought I would be caught the hell up with, and it was fast. Like
Mm.
her and Zach, it was. I'm talking about. I'm locked in. I'm certain aspects of my life I'm not doing anymore. I'm in college. I go to the library. The library elevator door open, and here is this beautiful specimen of a man,
Ooh.
and changed the entire trajectory of my life at that time. I'm talking about instant attraction, instant connection. I'm talking child.
That
Honestly,
do
I
that to
probably think
you.
we had sex. I think we had sex the next day, if I'm
Ooh.
not mistaken. Like everything, yes,
Well, all right.
everything, everything was fast. It was like he was like, I want to marry you. I want, and we're young. Like
um.
I want to marry you. I want this. Like it was just like I mean, in our 20s, but early 20s, and
Right.
everything just happened so fast. And I felt like once I had a moment to like really come to myself, I'm like, how did I get here? Like how did I get this far? Now, mind you,
Mm.
there's a difference between being 22 and being 34.
Yep.
I would hope. You know what I'm saying? But I have grace for her in that. But it's like at some point, sis, at some point
You
you
got.
got to realize that the standard you had for your life, the moral compass you had for your life, your values, you have completely pushed them to the side in order to be with this man. He hasn't had to do anything.
And you gotta wake
There
that
hasn't
up,
had to be
girl.
any change. And like you stated, you haven't required anything either.
Girl. And you got to wake that up because that is a no
Yes.
go, honey. Not for the
Yes.
rest of your days on this here space rock.
Yeah.
You deserve better, Bookie.
Yeah.
Way
You
better.
do. You do. You
How
do.
do you feel Fatima having a greater command of her love languages and even boundaries to protect them and require love as she deserves it could address her relationship insecurities with Zach?
I almost feel like not only would it address those insecurities, I don't think she would be with him.
Mm.
I don't think Fatima, like honestly, if Fatima's boundaries were effectively communicated as to what they were, of course it would definitely address, the insecurities with Karen, because even though I believe that Fatima has her own, insecurities and jealousies there, I do believe that Zach played a role in some of those things being present.
Mm-hmm.
And however, I feel that if Fatima effectively communicated those boundaries, I don't think that Zach would meet the standard.
I
But what
agree.
you doing that for? Why I gotta do that? So that's what I gotta do for you to build me? Forget it then, Fatima.
Yeah.
I think that would be
He
his
would either not
response.
meet the standard and she would step off if she
Hmm.
truly, but see, that would even require her to get to a better place with her insecurity. So maybe the thing that would happen before that is he would at least try and fail
Hmm.
and like try to manipulate her back down in standards, similar to what he did with Karen, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm doing my best, I'm trying, which ultimately is them saying you should be able to accept this because this is all I got to give right now.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
I think in speaking to what you need as a person, right? and standing on that in any relationship, romantic or otherwise, I think there's something that happens internally that immediately starts to address insecurities, because you have to find, wherever you find it from, you have to find a certain level of confidence that makes you not waver in that. Like, I have a family member right now that I'm like, we're done. And I'm done. And I'm standing 10 toes down in that because I deserve better. And you're not loving me appropriately. And you're nowhere even near being able to get to a place to love me as I deserve to be loved. And that's not my work to do. So I'm going to give you all that work back. I'm done trying to bridge the gap. Best of luck with you. And immediately with that decision, no matter how hurtful it could feel, no matter how lonely it could feel in the moments and how you miss them or whatever, immediately in a moment, there is at least a beginning spark of additional confidence, an immediate spark of additional, like, damn, I'm actually worthy of that, actually. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
It would completely change the trajectory of their relationship. And if it doesn't break them up, it will force them down that road to where Zach has to put up or shut up.
Yeah. And I think with women too, sometimes I've heard my friends say this. Well, if I really was supposed to be with him, it wouldn't hurt this bad. Girl, it's gonna hurt.
Girl, it's gonna
It's
hurt.
going
Like,
to
you
hurt.
gonna think you
It's
damn near
going
dying,
to hurt.
honey. The way the
Baby,
man with the
it's going
personality
to
and
hurt.
no thumb had me laid up on that couch like a $2 hoe, and my best friend had to come scrape my ass up off that couch, and that wasn't even the love of my damn life. You would have thought I was
Right.
dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna hurt,
I
mama.
yeah,
Sorry,
it's
Ellie. Go
gonna hurt, baby.
ahead.
No, we need all the reassurance. I instantly thought about the Waiting to Excel soundtrack. Why does it hurt so
Ah.
bad? And it's I thought I was over you, and I keep crying when I don't love you. No, but we do. It hurts. It hurts. Even the Aretha Franklin song, when it hurts like hell. These are some. I advise anybody, baby. When me and my friends used to be in our emotional bag with our boyfriends, baby, the Waiting to Excel soundtrack was what we played
Really?
heavily. We would watch Waiting to Excel, and we would play the Waiting to Excel soundtrack. That soundtrack
You
is is the
It's
milk for
goaded for
adults.
sure. It's goaded for sure. But you know what
It's
was my
goaded.
go-to? This probably about to tell
Which
y'all
one?
everything y'all need to know about me.
Oh God, what was it?
Because I also had a MySpace and everything would get put on the MySpace. So you would know what niggas was going through just by what the songs was, whatever. My immediate go-to in times of turmoil romantically was Nivea Complicated. Immediately. Immediately. That rain get the pouring. Child.
Set up in the dark for so long,
Just living my life.
living my life
Ah!
on my own, baby.
Right up out of the blue, bumped into you. That would be my go-to.
That song
Then
there.
Ashanti. I listened to
Baby.
a lot of Ashanti during that time. That Concrete Rose album, baby.
Yeah,
She put some crack in that one.
yeah. That's how I feel about her first album. I feel like Ashanti's first album, she put some crack up in there because that first album
Mm.
was like was amazing. And there's a song on I think Never Say Never is like probably my
Ah.
top R&B album of all time. There's a song on that album called Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the last song on the album. And I think in the last words that Brandy say on that song is, "I just can't wait. Tomorrow's too late. I'm leaving you
Mm-hmm.
today." I said, "Wait a minute, what?" And I
Wait a
and
damn
for
minute.
me, like those old songs, like Complicated, it's like Nivea. People don't give
Girl.
her
At
flowers.
all.
Nivea, baby, Complicated, 25 Reasons are like two of my favorite songs.
And I didn't go to
Sometimes,
Wait
you know,
Next
we can't
Hell, but
even
I
really.
did go to Tony Braxton.
Hmm.
I was in my Tony Braxton bag often when I was heartbroken. Often, baby.
Let me
Ooh.
tell you something. Tony is my dog. Tony is my girl. There are moments like almost every couple months I have a Tony Braxton day where she's all I listen
Mm.
to. I only listen to her
I
music.
gotta go back. I
Man,
haven't listened to her in a while.
that first album, even Secrets are the second one. That
Mm-hmm.
Tony
Hell,
Braxton,
Heat, child.
he people sleep on Heat.
They sleep on Heat.
People sleep on it. People sleep on it. But I'm like, baby, that woman there, Tony Braxton, that breathe again for
Mm.
me. Um, and the point I'm making in using these songs, like sometimes they're able to convey what you may not be able
Yep.
to verbalize,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it's
Yep.
this is how I feel. And um, with Fatima, I forgot where we was, but um, with Fatima, we talked about her boundaries and what that would look like if she
Mm-hmm.
actually did, stick to those things, and what that would look like for her life, and even the jealousies and the insecurities, that she may have.
Yep.
And I just, because my thing is, if y'all want to make Fatima a bad B, let her be a bad B then.
Hello.
Like that's my whole thing. This is not bad B behavior,
At all.
not even in the slightest. So if we gonna make her that, then let her be that. But it is time for Zach to step up to the plate
100%.
because she has been doing entirely too much in this relationship. Even when she told Tamira, "I'm gonna do everything I gotta do to make sure me and mine straight." No, let him make sure you and him straight because you just
Hello.
do entirely too much, ma'am.
Way too much, Miss Girl.
You do entirely too
That
much.
man ain't got to do a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
And then you whooping people's asses when they point it out. Like, ma'am, please.
I know he got problems, but he's a good man.
But he's my
He's a
problem.
good man. Baby, okay. All right. You can have it.
Thank you, Lord, for delivering me. Thank you, Jesus, for delivering me from the spirit
That's
of
it.
whatever the hell that is. Thank
Yes.
God. Thank you,
Yes.
Lord.
You need it.
So often in the Sisters universe, y'all, the misalignment with whether it's the knowledge of your love language or being able to demand love as you deem worthy, feel worthy, is directly tied to the level of self worth that the character actually possesses, and oftentimes how the characters with low self esteem accept love in any language is 100% indicative to again that lower self esteem. The pattern for settling is so very prevalent in the Sisters universe, and I would love to see as we move forward in other seasons us address that, because that's a very real thing. I think it's a thing that can be seasonal for women. Sometimes people settle all their life, but then sometimes you don't know no better, so you in a season of settling, and it's not till you learn and you move that you do something, and that would be something so beautiful to actually see. And ultimately, from what we see, we get to see that it creates unstable relationships when you are navigating a place of lack of self-awareness and lack of self-worth. And I hope that you guys were able to pick up on that from this conversation that we didn't have today. We talked about every single character, from Sabrina accepting Rich's minimal efforts to Andy's pattern of accepting relationships on men's terms,
Mhm.
or just being bought. Early Karen accepting Zach's inconsistencies because she could change them and thought she could change them. Danny accepting relationships that don't actually fulfill her, but they scratch an itch because all that matters right now is the itch getting scratched. Or Fatima shifting standards since meeting Zach. All of that is, I think, great examples that we have spoke to. And we would still love to hear your thoughts on this. You can do so in the comment section. This is where we're getting ready to close out in the love languages department. However, we got a bonus segment. And
Yes,
this
we
might be
do.
the perfect time to put that up there. We got a bonus segment for y'all. Because why not? We only at 2 hours and 18 minutes at this point, and we need to get back to giving y'all the meat. Perspective Plan says she don't like them little boneless ass
Don't like them
episodes we
little
was
short
giving.
things. What y'all doing? What y'all doing?
So we gotta go a little bit longer. I'm looking for the comment right now, Allie. Hold on, so that I can pull it up. Sorry, y'all. I've been engaging in a bunch of sentence conversations. So, did I upload it? Okay, cool. That's what's in my phone right now. But we got a comment on our Karen episode, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Our Karen, our Sisters Keeper episode brought up this comment from a Miss Davis, born in 1968. And she said, "You are literally the only person that speaks on colorism related to Karen. We don't care about color of anyone's skin. Karen was written to be pathetic. I get you are really dark skinned and not attractive, and your co host is not attractive with no neck, but stop with the colorism. Fatima slash Crystal is gorgeous. Zach slash DeVale is handsome. Period. Colorism is not a fact." Insane.
Insane. Insane.
I'm
um,
sorry, y'all. I thought I
Erica,
got all my giggles out over the weekend. Allie, I thought I was done laughing at this lady.
girl, girl.
I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying... Y'all won't be able to find this comment because Miss Girl has since
Right.
been blocked. This
Yeah.
this woman of a certain age.
Yes.
We're gonna respect our elders.
We're gonna respect our elder.
This woman of a certain age has left 68 comments on my channel, with only one ever receiving a like, because she has been horribly disrespectful, divisive,
Yeah.
and disgusting from the very start.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, since I've had practice in this and receiving your deplorable rhetoric about my looks, I'm a bad bitch. How dare you ever bring up my look? Don't get it twisted, ho. Don't get it twisted, bitch. It never gave unattractive. It never gave ugly. But, y'all gonna say what y'all
And
want to say. Now that I'm a little bit
yeah.
more well versed in the disrespect and the think pieces, we can handle this with a little bit of decorum. But it just creates a great opportunity for us to build on and give y'all a little bit of bonus segments. Because I think some people really believe that we don't get these comments, one. And then
Yeah.
two, tell me you wanted to be the proof of concept without telling me you wanted to be the goddamn proof of concept. Because if colorism is not a factor, then why do you believe my dark ass to be unattractive? Quickly. Oh, you can't because you're blocked, ho?
Yeah.
What else could it be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't address my intellect. You don't say that you see me to be a terrible person on the inside like you. I would argue that you're quite unattractive, Mrs. Davis, born in 1968, specifically because you feel like you're rotten on the inside and miserable as hell, baby girl. Only a miserable woman will get her ass, her grown ass, woman of a certain age, on the internet and call other black women unattractive and spew out all types of colorism and fat phobia for funsies. That's fun to you because you live a life of misery, baby girl. And I got concepts of thoughts and prayers because I actually don't have them for you. Go ahead, Allie. Sorry.
And it's interesting because I didn't even see the comment. It was two people who sent them to me in a message in a DM, and it was like, y'all need to block this beat. So I sent the message to Erica, and I was like, girl, block this beat like that. And it was so interesting because there are people who listen to me who have been following me for a long time. And it's interesting because in the past 2 years, Because I had a Patreon and everything. But about 2 years ago, I had a health crisis. Like I had a health thing, and
Mm,
I don't even know if you remember
I
me
do.
sharing this with you, Erica. But right before Erica asked me to do or when she asked me to do Our Sister's Keeper, I was very reluctant to do it because there have been so many times. Not now, thank God, I've been doing amazing. But when we first started, there were times that I literally felt like crap
Mm-hmm.
doing Our Sister's Keeper, and nobody would know. I would still show up and still do, the things that I do. And I would just, out of 365 days, I probably felt good 10 of them. And that's probably pushing it. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
really, and no, and the doctors didn't know what was going on with me. They didn't know why certain things was going on with my body, so on and so forth. And so the thing that even got me to find out what was going on with my body is that I thought that my glands were swollen in my neck because I never had this issue before. So a lot of things it don't even have to do with being big, being overweight or nothing
Yep.
like that. It is a physical thing that we don't even know what causes it. So when I think about people who attack someone's physicality, because I'm like, if I don't care if you find me attractive or not, because I'm not trying to fuck you. That's
Hello.
number one. You're not in my
First and
demographic of,
foremost.
what I'm saying, you're not in my demographic of who I would want in the first place. But big neck or small neck is never stopped me from getting anyone that I wanted.
Say
Let's
that.
definitely start. Let's definitely start with that. And it's interesting because God has blessed you to live 57 years on this earth, and you would come to two young black women who are younger than you, and you would spew certain words. But I guarantee you was in church Easter Sunday praising the Lord, clapping your hands, and having the fake Holy Ghost. So,
Child.
said I had to say, be careful what you say about people. And like Erica said, you didn't attack the fact that you felt that she was a bad person. You didn't say anything about her intellect, and you proved our point because never, ever, since we have been doing Our Sister's Keeper, have you guys ever heard us degrade or talk about any of the characters' physicality other than giving them props for looking good. We have not degraded them. We have not done any of that. We ain't never said that Crystal is
Because
not
they all
attractive or
bad
she's
bitches.
ugly
There's
because that's
nothing
not
to
the
actually
truth.
degrade, honestly. Like, it's such low hanging
Facts.
fruit when you try to attack how people look. Um, that's not just something that I want to do in my wheelhouse unless you are a terrible person. Like, I talk about 47's
Right.
orange ass because he's rotten on the damn
Girl.
inside.
Horrible
And that
person.
rot has manifested outside, similar to how your
Yes.
rot is manifested outside. And you might think, baby girl, because you have a little bit of lighter skin than me, that you are Fatima, but you're not. And let me go ahead and speak to you hoes, because that's part of the problem. You hoes are projecting yourself into this fictitious world, and you want to be Fatima so bad. You actually believe yourself to be Fatima so bad, but you're not Fatima. So you getting up on your damn high horse and you getting angry and you getting pissed and you grabbing your damn pitchforks coming for me and Allie like we the damn witches in Salem when all we're doing is communicating damn truths that you could honestly sit with, reckon with, and better yourself with, but instead you want to hop your ass in the comment section and show your woman of a certain age ass in all the worst ways. What
Yes.
exactly would this do for you, baby girl?
Yeah.
What does it do for you? Some of
Yeah.
y'all need to release, and you need to have a better parasocial relationship with these fictional characters. I speak to Karen and love Karen down because I walked her journey. And part of y'all's issue with me liking Karen, I don't know what the issue is with y'all liking, with Allie liking it, but I know for a fact some of y'all's issue with me liking Karen is because I speak from a place of actually living the things that she has lived and doing the things that she has done, and I'm not ashamed about it. You hoes can't hold that shit over me. I don't feel no bit of guilt about it. So many of y'all are like, your demons inside are like triggered by the truth, the honesty, and the authenticity that you experience here at Our Sisters Keeper. And baby, that is for you and Jesus to deal with. It's not for us. That is outside of our job description and or our pay grade. Baby, I don't get paid enough to exercise your demons. So please take them on elsewhere. Because we also notice that you frequent other places to which they communicate terrible ass rhetoric around black women.
Okay.
You are a person who finds company in people who degrade black women on a regular. So it's no surprise that you're gonna come and talk about my skin, and you're gonna come talk about Allie's physicality, while also sitting in somebody else's comment section yucking it up with them as a man, degrading black women because they hate black women. The quiet part that you're not saying, baby, which would have been so much better for you to say it into my damn comment section because we could actually work with that, Miss Michelle, was that you actually hate yourself. You hate your
Yes.
life. You don't see yourself as attractive. There's a conversation to be had there, baby. There's something to actually unpack there. But you get into my comment section attacking Allie's physicality and attacking my skin color and trying to make those things seem unattractive or just lie. So we can't even have a conversation about it, baby. Because again, it never gave ugly, boo. Never gave unattractive. On the
No.
outside or the in.
No. And then and the interesting thing is, baby, you ain't that many more shades lighter than the person that you talking about. That's the part that gets me. You're on the chocolate spectrum as well, sis.
And don't
What are
think
you
that
talking
the ring
about?
light changes that for you. Lighting does a
That's it.
world of good.
You got a light. Yeah, that's all it is. You just got a little light. That's it. And it's just interesting because I was telling my mom, and me and Erica talked briefly about it. I'm like, the last video I talked about is black women who say some of the most degrading and disrespectful things to us, all because, well, it likes to be prefaced as all because we don't like the character of Fatima, when it's so much deeper than that. As Erica pointed out, we're dealing with women who don't love themselves. We're dealing with people who feel that it's normal for pregnant women to fight. Yes, these are comments. We
Child,
deal with
let's
people
let's
who
let's let's talk about the damn
are
comments, Allie,
okay.
because this is only one of a few.
Yeah, that's just
Miss
one.
Girl also said, let's see, since we done already blocked your simple ass,
Yes.
Miss Ma'am. She was arguing with the sensible ass Trey Morris in the comments for a minute, but um, lazy eye big booty Aaron is annoying. Girl, what?
Like, what is that? This what?
Y'all just be saying shit.
That was just stupid.
Karen will get close to him because she hurts that Zatima are having a baby. She needs to stop saying that Zach is stressing her out because she could have sent a text requesting the meeting to discuss his text. She can't just keep going into their home unannounced. Did she knock on the door?
She not. I think yeah. She
Oh, all
knocked on the
right.
door.
All right. And why is colorism only brought up when you're discussing Fatima and Karen? Fans are critical of Gary, Danny, Sabrina, but yet no mention of colorism. Where are they as critical of Gary, Danny, or Sabrina as they are
Okay.
of Karen?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that at? I would love to see it. Ain't never seen it.
You never seen it.
Never. And I don't even
Ain't
like to
never
say
seen
never. I
it.
don't
Ain't
like to
never
speak in
heard.
absolutes, but it never happens. Gary is quite literally
No.
the menace of the whole damn town. And there are plenty of male identified women ready to ride on his pole and excuse all his goddamn wrongs. Where? Where is the criticism for Gary? Where is the criticism for Danny,
Yes.
the terrible ass friend? Where is the criticism for
Yeah.
Sabrina? And if there is Sabrina criticism, I don't even know how much it's supposed to be because she don't do shit.
Okay. Okay.
You pick the
Okay.
other dark characters and then just decided because they're darker than Fatima that you was
That's
going to throw them
exactly
in
what she
there.
did.
Meanwhile, there's nothing to actually back that shit up. Meanwhile, Karen gets called everything but a child of God. Karen gets disrespected. Y'all are wishing for this lady to miscarry and have been from the moment that she announced that she was pregnant. And you want me to believe it's something other than colorism most of the time?
Okay.
When
Okay. And not
Fatima
even
is
that.
light,
It
bright
drift
baddie with a
into
butt, stop
yes.
it.
Yes.
Because
And it
there's
drifts
not much
into
difference between the Fatima character of today and the Karen character that we met. They
yeah.
are both quite literally in the same damn relationship. The only difference is that Zach has not physically cheated on Fatima yet. She has the exact same man that Karen had, except for this one got a little bit of money.
That's it.
So what's the difference?
That's it. Mhm.
Her skin color and y'all's proximity to her prettiness and y'all value of what you deem to be pretty. Karen didn't necessarily get all of this hate before, but the moment that Fatima entered the chat and she became Zach's love interest, y'all found a light skinned ass savior and you threw Karen's ass to the back because God forbid you actually respect both women for who the hell they are.
Okay.
Y'all's colorism started showing when Fatima started to rise into prominence, and us speaking about that does not make us wrong for doing it. It makes us honest.
Thank you.
It makes us doing our damn job because we said we came here to unpack everything and we unpacking everything. And you getting your goofy ass in our comment section calling me darky and unattractive is just literally proving the point. Simple.
Yes.
You had to have cultivated a couple more brain cells and not be this damn stupid.
And
Let me
57.
stop and talk to somebody, Meemaw.
And 57.
One of the many comments, y'all. And this is a bonus segment because we're not fabricating the colorism that is playing out within this audience.
Yes.
We're not speaking of this fictional thing that's not actually happening. Not only if the other characters experiencing it, but we are experiencing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So enough with trying to dismiss it. If you got a problem
Yes.
and you're uncomfortable with it, that's perfectly fine. There, people are uncomfortable with things every day. We live in a capitalistic ass hellscape. I'm uncomfortable. But the difference
Yes.
between you and I, if you are uncomfortable and it forces you to hurl expletives and disrespectful ass dialogue towards me, the difference is that I can sit with the things that I'm uncomfortable with and ask myself, why am I uncomfortable? Should I be uncomfortable? Is there something that can stretch or grow me here? Do I have a blind spot here? Is it something that I can actually use in this discomfort? That way I can go through the discomfort, heal through the discomfort, take what the hell I need to be better and get the hell on. I ain't in nobody's
Yes.
comment section belittling how they look because I can't grasp at anything else. I can't speak to their damn intellect because they actually smart. I can't speak to them being a good person or not because they actually are dope ass individuals. I can't speak to the work ethic that they have as content creators because the bitches show up. The most I can do is speak to my internal bias against darkness and call the girl dark and unattractive, and that is still a lie. Seek help. Therapy is
Please.
available.
It is.
Just because y'all don't want something to be true doesn't make it less true.
Yes.
You ever miss
Those are
anything,
facts.
Haley?
I think we pretty much, you know what I'm saying, said what needed to be said. I think it's just time out for, and even in my comment section, like I really don't, you have people that, don't like the fact that you call out Fatima, but it's very rare that people get that damn disrespectful. And it's one of the things that you just said. Just because we said and you don't like it doesn't mean what we're saying is an untruth. But it comes, I know for me, and it's just, and it could be just my irritation. We've been sitting with the characters of Sisters going on 6 years. November will be 6 years. And me personally, I am sick of the comments where people are not even trying to stretch themselves to add to the conversation. Like the dumbass comments or the dumbass questions. They say no such thing as a dumb question. I'm sorry. Some
There are
people post some
plenty.
dumbass
There are
questions.
plenty.
Well, the video the other day. The video is talking about, Fatima or Karen and possibly which character will lose a child if that is the direction that the writers are going into. Somebody gonna talk about respectfully. Why did she say to call Zach? When what the hell that got to do with the video? Like that's the part that be getting me. I
Ah!
did a whole ass video about Fatima, and in my comment section, it turned into a situation about Karen. I'm not talking about Karen. It's those things.
Mm-hmm.
People have and the thing about it is people love to say this is a show, but this show has brought out so many so much darkness in people that they didn't know that they were pygmies. They didn't know that they were male identified women. They didn't know that they had an issue with colorism. They didn't know that they are dark skinned and you applaud this woman who's light skinned who you just feel can't do no wrong, even though she is a flawed character like everybody else. And like you said, the
Because you
character
wish
of
you looked
Karen,
like her, you wish you didn't look
because you
like
want to
you.
look like that. Exactly. Or you have this character of Karen who is played by a gorgeous woman, and you look at it and then it's like she never received this type of hate. You had women applauding her for telling Zach, this is the type of man that I want, and you're not stepping up to the plate for that. And the moment, as you stated already, the moment that Fatima was introduced as a love interest to Zach, and she's coming in and possibly to disturb whatever was left of Karen in his relationship, now Karen is the villain. Now Karen is the woman need to leave him alone. Now she jealous of Fatima. No, those are your insecurities
Yep.
that's coming up to the surface. And my thing is deal with them. And like I said earlier in the video, I would hope that people use the tools that these videos as tools to have communication with your girls if you watch Sisters. See where you agree or disagree with me and Erica because hey, that's what it's about. I disagree because I feel like this. Okay, cool. Some people just come and say, well, I disagree. And you disagree about what? What the hell do you disagree with? Like we're not mind readers, and I love and for me, I love engaging with people. I love trying to find out how you arrive to this scenario. Even in this conversation with me and Erica, I stopped and said, okay, like what is your perception on words of affirmation to make sure that I understand where she's coming from. And when I did, I'm like, oh, okay, I know why you feel that way now. Okay, I see. And that's just what it's about. Not that I was disagreeing, but I just wanted more clarity. And we get to a place, people are real bold over this internet
Hello.
that they would never say these things to
At the
people
Whole
faces.
Foods.
Would would
You
never
would never
would
say
never
this to
say
me, ho, at the
anything.
Whole Foods.
Girl, would
My
never
six
would
foot
never say
dark skinned
anything.
ass would never hear you walk up to me and say this.
Yes. Yes, and to anybody, and I say this too, because there are some people who watch us who aspire to do things on social media. I don't
Child.
care what you look like. I don't care what you have going on in your life. If God has granted you breath, if God has granted you ideas in your imagination, whatever you feel that you have been placed here to do in your purpose, do it. Somebody
And you
gonna always
can
have
do
something
it.
to say, and you can do
Start
it, and
toughening
you
up your
will do
skin
it.
now, Bookie. That's all we can say.
Cause somebody gonna always find something
Some dumb shit.
wrong with you. They gonna always find people. There are people. If Crystal puts something on social media and people disagree with it, I've seen people come at
Attack
her
her.
about her body. Oh, she looked like a linebacker. Oh, she looked like she played football. Oh, I've seen people come at, and that's a conversation I don't ever get into because it might be one day I actually meet these people and they would never be able to say that Allie Nick said something degrading about my physique. I would never do that. I may not like a role that you played. I may have felt you could do better in the role. But when it comes to how God made you, or things may come up in your life and you can't, it's not your fault, you can't do nothing about it. That's just what it is. But you
And
continue to be
also,
the
we
great
just don't
person.
operate in that way, Allie. Like, that is such low
Absolutely not.
vibrational ass behavior. And we're not even at that place and on that plane. Like, to be at a place where you actually value people, humans, especially today, people are getting deported,
Yes.
y'all. People are being sent to
Yes.
extermination camps. People are being
Yes.
fired, forcibly fired. People can't feed their families. There's fires. People matter. The last thing that matters is what I think about somebody's looks. And I ain't fucking on them. What the hell
Okay.
does that matter? It don't. But it matters to low vibrational ass miserable people, so you say it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But go say it somewhere else because you can't say it here no more, ho. You can't say it
And I've
here.
been blocked your ass. I've been blocked you a long time ago.
Child.
Long time ago.
I think, like to your point, Allie, I really wish that more people would utilize us as tools. I wish, because that's another thing. It is not easy to take up the space that Allie and I take up. To be voices that are unwavering and standing for women, even when women don't stand for themselves. To be, I think, conduits for
Mm-hmm.
honest and open ass conversations tying in truths that you probably can relate to, that you probably experience, because we did the work of going through the thing, and now we can pull from our scars, and we're not talking from our wounds, so we can handle that we're talking about in a way that can help somebody else. That is not easy. That all takes time. That takes perspective. It takes maturity. It takes love. It takes integrity. It takes purpose and intention. And a lot of people are deficient in a lot of those things. So utilize the things that you come across. If you are lucky enough, and yes, I'm saying lucky enough because I'm going to toot our goddamn horn right now. If you are lucky enough to listen to us on a weekly basis, if you watch my videos on a daily basis, and you get to be able to be exposed to the things that I say and how my mind works, because that's ultimately what I'm doing, inviting people into how my mind works around interpersonal relationships, love, and how we navigate this goddamn human experience. Take the gift. You don't always have to agree with it. You don't always have to think that I'm right. But it's a gift to get somebody else lived experience and perspective and be able to use that when navigating your particular journey in this life. Stop trying to make me your enemy and your villain. Stop trying to make Allie your enemy and your villain, because we don't even know you. Aside from hoping for the best for you, ho, we don't care. We're not your enemies because we tell you to do better. We're not your enemies when we point out that this is wrong. We're not your enemies when we say we deserve more, because we do. And to the point of like what we were talking about now, and like understanding your self-worth and be able to stand on that you should demand because you deserve it. You don't got to earn it. That's part of it. Too many Black women specifically are pushing back with us across various pieces of content. Because again, I've experienced this with All American. And your asses is pushing back against me wanting us to go higher, wanting us to do better and call in more. Some of you hoes need to sit with that. Time is of the essence, and you too busy settling and beefing with people that you got parasocial relationships with on the damn internet, and your life is still spiraling deeper and deeper into some goddamn misery. Bitch, go find some happiness. Do something with yourself.
Yes.
It just came out, Ellie.
I think that's about it. That we covered everything. I think we covered everything.
I tried. That last one.
You handled yourself very well, sis. You
What
handled
are we
yourself
talking
very well.
about?
Yeah, you handled yourself very well. And I just think, to your point, we are not your enemies because we may say something that you disagree with. That's great. If we say something that you disagree with, then okay, find out the reason that you're in disagreement. 6 years. That means if you were 20 when Sister started, you're 26. If you were 32 when Sister started, hopefully get 39. You're 38. I'm going to need you to act like it. Let your comments, and a lot of times people just let anything go in their comment section. Nah, if you come and being stupid, if you come, I'm deleting your comment. I'm gonna give you one delete. So if I delete your stuff, the next time you're getting blocked. Warning. And that's just what it is. First and final, you get there, you're getting blocked. So yes, you can disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagree. Have something of substance to say. Please.
And I don't think that there's colorism plaguing the sisters community, because I don't just like Fatima because she's light skinned.
Correct.
Why couldn't you have said that?
Because
it wasn't the truth. You couldn't say that because that's not the truth. You like her because her ass is light skinned with a fat ass. And we called it. And you're mad about it.
That's it. Because if you were so mad, it's interesting how Fatima / Crystal, Zach / Duvall are the only people that you label as handsome and attractive. You didn't put Karen in there. So you literally proved our point. Literally.
And be blessed and blocked. We'll see y'all next week.
Good night. Good night, y'all.